Welcome on in to day 2 of the NFL Draft. The Cleveland Browns are ready to join the party along with the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans as they await their first draft pick after an extremely offensive and eventful Day 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft. Matthew Peterson here, hanging out with you guys for round 2 as we go pick by pick with analysis and breakdowns, along with deep coverage for the Cleveland Browns and the Atlanta Falcons specifically, as we are doing a simulcast for both those channels here on our chat sports coverage of Day 2 of the NFL Draft. So as we are less than an hour away from Day 2 kicking off, shout out your city for me down in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Always good to see faces, familiar ones, but also new ones all across the country. So let me know where you're watching from. We've got a Browns chat going at once and a Falcons chat going at the same time. So I hope everyone can play nicely as these two fan bases have very little bad blood between the two, unless you're still hung up on the Falcons' beatdown of the Browns in the fourth quarter 2 years ago when Tyler Algier and company ran all over that Joe Woods defense in the fourth quarter. Mike Dibble is tuning in from North Carolina. Riley's in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I got Playmaker in Dallas. Randy's in Thomasville, Georgia. CJ's in Scranton. Floyd is in Potsdam, New York. I've got Alex watching from Bakersfield, California. We got all over the globe being represented right now. Louisville, Ohio, Minster, Ohio, Akron, Ohio. A lot of people watching from the Buckeye State. Mike Dibble, the MVP of the entire Chat Sports main coverage from last night's round 1 NFL Draft. So if Jedrick Cooper is the pick today, that is Mike Dibble's jersey of choice for winning the MVP for being the biggest super chatter just a night ago. Cedric's watching from Powder Springs, Georgia. I got Ty in Oakland, Ty Man the Buckeye in both chats all at once. No surprise right there. But if you are ready to make a draft pick, spam me in the comment section below. Let's get some me's going on as we welcome on our producer today, Cullen Brown. The Browns awaiting their first draft pick. The Falcons awaiting a redo from night 1 with Michael Penix. I've got a lot of thoughts on the Michael Penix pick, and I'm just going to air them out right now. It doesn't make sense on so many levels. I knocked my fan over.
Oh.
The biggest defense I've seen for the Michael Penix pick is, look what the Kansas City Chiefs did. It worked out pretty well for them. 2 huge differences between the Falcons and the Chiefs. One, the Chiefs didn't just pay Alex Smith $180 million. It's just a waste of money, in my eyes. If you like Penix so much, why not just draft him and then spend the $180 million on Danielle Hunter and Christian Wilkins? That's one thing that comes to my mind. The other is, if your example for it working out for another team is the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, you're kind of saying he has to be as good as Patrick Mahomes then.
Just a little bit.
Like, well, look what happened to Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so he has to be Patrick Mahomes for this to work out. Otherwise, it's a waste of a first-round pick. That's an extremely and unfairly high bar for Michael Penix.
It is.
But spam me in the comment section right now. I've got Brent. I've got AFX Apocalypse. I've got Mike Dibble in the chat. 65 people hanging out actually on both streams at the exact same moment, which is very strange. But the Browns channel has 17 likes compared to 9 from the Falcons. So we'll have a fun little back and forth between the two streams to see which one can get more likes and whatnot. But like the video if you have not already. Spam me like Ty Man the Buckeye is doing on both ends. Now, we're going to run through my round 2 mock draft in just a moment, so stick around for that. But first, I do want to shout out our wonderful sponsor today, which is Prize Picks. Today's show is made possible thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? It is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. They also have a wide variety of stat projections, including for the NFL draft, season-long projections for their stats like Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Malik Neighbors. So if you like my selections, feel free to ride with me by downloading the Prize Picks app and using code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, download the Prize Picks app and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Prize Picks for supporting us here at Chat Sports. Make sure you get started today. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Riley with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Riley. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Shout out Mitch Frank for me from the Estemo Township Tennis League. Looking forward to some great picks. Riley, shout out to Mitch, Frank, and everyone else watching from your tennis club. Appreciate you for supporting the channel. And yeah, here's some great picks indeed. Jarrett Roush, next one up on the channel. What's going on, Jarrett? Let's grab a good one, Brownies. Who you want, PD? That's a great question, Jarrett. Jedrick Cooper has been the guy that I have been trying to speak it into existence for so long. But my actual dream pick for Cleveland, and I don't see this guy falling to 54, is Illinois' defensive tackle, Jer'Zhan Newton. The number one spot the teams are coveting right now are pass rushers on the interior. We just saw how much Christian Wilkins got paid. We know the Browns were interested in Christian Wilkins. I think Jer'Zhan Newton is not the next Christian Wilkins necessarily, but he's going to bring a lot of really good pass rushing upside from the interior of the defensive line. Where the Browns have been trying to find some long-term success at that position, haven't been able to do that in the draft so far, but I think Newton could end that run. So if I really had to make a dream pick for Cleveland, I would go with Newton out of Illinois. And actually, I would make that same selection for pretty much all 32 teams. I was surprised he did not go in round one. I think whatever team finds him in round two is going to be very happy with that selection. Now, before we get on to the rest of our pregame or pre-draft coverage here, including my round two mock draft, quick reminder to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're going to have pick-by-pick analysis for all of you guys watching. So if you want the latest on your squad, hit the sub button down below because it's only round two, round three, day two of the draft. We still have the ultimate day three behemoth, which is rounds 4 through 7, and a whole lot of picks. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you do not miss out on any of the analysis and breakdown for the entirety of the 2024 NFL Draft. Jarrett, appreciate your super chat. Thank you very much. Same goes for you, Riley. Really appreciate those of you that go above and beyond to support the channel. If you want to get on screen like Jarrett and Riley, super chat guarantees you get a spot on screen for everyone to see. So, with that being said, let's run through my round two mock draft as we are about 50 minutes away from the start of day two of the NFL Draft. So, I think there's going to be a lot of trades, but I'm not going to even try and predict what those trades are. So just stick with me here as we keep the draft order in its current state. At 33, I could see the Bills trading out of it, but I think after trading Stephon Diggs, they're going to want to go with the number one wide receiver, and that is A.D. Mitchell out of Texas. At 34, after the Patriots got Drake May, they could either go offensive line or they could go wide receiver. My suspicion is they're going to want to go wide receiver. I could see the Cardinals adding a very important DB member to their room, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Arizona's got a very weak secondary. I think he is the best remaining versatile corner on the board. At 36, I have the Commanders going offensive tackle. After selecting Jaden Daniels, the most logical pick would be either an offensive lineman or a wide receiver. They're good at wide receiver with Terry McLaurin and Josh Dotson, but I think they could go get a new right tackle for Jaden Daniels. At 37, I have the Chargers finally addressing their need for wide receiver with Ladd McConkey. This to me just screams Harbaugh. Is he a do-it-all, superstar wide receiver? No, but he's a savvy route runner. He's going to put a ton of effort in when it comes to run blocking, and that screams Harbaugh to me. At 38, I've got the Titans going with Jer'Zhan Newton, the defensive tackle out of Illinois. Tennessee needs a lot of work on both sides of the line, and they went offensive line in round 1. Now I think they go defensive line in round 2. At pick 39, I've got the Panthers going with a tight end. Remember, they traded up to go get Xavier Legette to round out the first round of the draft. This time, I don't think they go offensive line because they invested a lot of money in the O-line during free agency. I could see them upgrading at tight end with the draft class second best tight end from Texas, Trevon Sanders. At 40, I've got the Washington Commanders scooping up Cooper DeJean. I think the Commies were just shocked that he was even available at this point. They don't have a pressing need at corner, but DeJean can offer a lot of special teams upside until he finds a permanent starting role. Then at 41, I've got the Packers going with Enix Rakestraw Jr. To me, this is just a best player available selection. And the Packers just saw the Bears and the Vikings go get quarterbacks in round 1. Not a bad idea to reinvest in your secondary when you got to play 4 games against those guys. Then at 42, I've got the Texans going with Adisa Isaac, edge rusher out of Penn State. They lost Jonathan Grenard in free agency, but they did sign Danielle Hunter. However, that was just to a 2-year contract. I think they try to find a more long-term piece in Isaac. At 43, I'm going to have the Falcons selecting Mike Sainristil, the cornerback out of Michigan. Atlanta has to go defense at this spot. There's a lot of really good wide receivers in this draft. They can wait until one of their third-round picks to go get one of those wideouts. But I think at 43, the most logical pick is defense, and the best player on the board at this stage is Sainristil. At 44, I'm going to have the Raiders select Troy Franklin. They've got Gardner Minshew. They went with a tight end, Brock Bowers, in round 1. But after Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, there's a drop-off at that position. Franklin can bring a huge need for speed to the Sin City. At 45, I've got the Saints going with Marshawn Nealon. This, to me, just gives me vibes of, what's the player they took out of UTEP a few years ago? His name's escaping me, but he went to the Vikings in free agency, and now he's a Lion. I'll think of it in 3 seconds. But I think they could go edge rusher at this spot. Marcus Davenport. Then at 46, I've got the Colts going with safety Tyler Nubbin out of Minnesota. It's not a very good safety class, but I think the Minnesota Golden Gopher is the best of the bunch. Then at 47, the Giants traded away Dexter Lawrence a few months ago, last season I should say, to the Seahawks. Now I think they go get a replacement for him in the draft with pick 47, and it's Florida State's Braden Fisk. At 48, I've got the Jags going with Zach Frazier. He's a very versatile interior offensive lineman. Could start at center, could start at guard, but I'm sure Trevor Lawrence would love this pick after they went wide receiver in round number 1. Then at 49, I've got the Bengals going wide receiver Roman Wilson out of Michigan. Does not look like T. Higgins is going to be there for much longer, 2024 at the latest. So not a bad idea to go and pick up a new wideout in round 2. At pick 50, the Eagles have a need for linebacker. It was their biggest weakness last year. So they go get the number 1 linebacker in the draft, Jedrick Cooper. At 51, I've got the Steelers taking safety from Georgia, Javon Bullard. The Steelers can go a handful of directions at this stage, but they're always looking for playmakers in the secondary, and I think they go re-up in the safety position. Then at 52, I've got the Rams going with Kingsley Suamatia, the offensive tackle from BYU. They went Jared Verse in round 1, defensive end from Florida State. Now I could see them going to the other side of the line. Then at 53, the Eagles are back on the clock, and I could see them going Jackson Powers Johnson, center out of Oregon. I think he's the best center in this class, but there are concussion concerns surrounding him. But after losing Jason Kelce to retirement, this to me just makes too much sense. And then the Browns at pick 54, I wrestled with, but ultimately I landed on offensive tackle Patrick Paul. He's young, extremely athletic, and loads of experience to the tune of 44 career starts at left tackle. If Cleveland has doubts about Jedrick Wills being here past 2024, this would not be a bad time to get a replacement. At 55, the Dolphins need help on the interior offensive line, So they're going to go with Cooper Beebe, offensive guard from Kansas State. At 56, I've got the Cowboys taking Jonathan Brooks. That's just an absolute no-doubter to me. Jerry Jones is on his knees for the Texas running back already. Then at 57, I've got the Bucs going with Peyton Wilson. Remember, they lost Devin White in free agency. I could see them reloading at the linebacker position. At 58, the Green Bay Packers have a second-round pick due to the Aaron Rodgers trade, and now they go Chris Jenkins, defensive tackle out of Michigan. At 59, I've got the Texans going with wide receiver Jalen Polk. I know they traded for Stephon Diggs, but remember, he redid his contract. It's only a one-year deal for him. Not the worst idea to bring in some youth at that position. Then at 60, how about the Bills go TJ Tampa, cornerback out of Iowa State. They lost Tre'Davious White due to a cap casualty, along with several other key members of their secondary. I think they go DB in round 2 today. At 61, I've got the Lions going with Chris Braswell. They need help on the defensive line. Ultimately, they went corner in round number 1. Now I think they go D-line in round 2. Then at pick 62, I've got the Ravens going with UCF's wideout, Javon Baker. You want an absolute home run machine? This is your man. He can push the ball down the field, and Baker, to me, just makes way too much sense for a Lamar Jackson-led offense. Then at 63, I thought the Niners would go offensive tackle in round 1. They did not. So at pick 63, they go get Notre Dame's right tackle, Blake Fisher, which is coincidentally where they need a little bit of help on their offensive line. And then to round out the draft, I've got the Chiefs taking Karan Amaganji from Yale. They don't have a need for they don't need anything. They're the Kansas City Chiefs. But they may need an offensive lineman next year. And Amaganji, I think, is a little bit of a project. So I could see Andy Reid going, let me get my hands on him, stick him on the not the practice squad, stick him on the second string lineup and have him work in practice all year. And then we can find a starting job for him in 2025. So that's my mock draft right there. Let me know what you think of it down below in the comment section. By the way, we are having a simulcast between our Browns and our Falcons channel as we are at max capacity for studios. I wish some of you guys could be at our Chat Sports downtown, headquarters, if you will, because when it's days like this, we have like a light system out there. It's like stoplights, and you push the light when you're going into a studio to signify that it's occupied. Every single light is green right now for live. So we are double dipping with our Falcons and Browns channels here. But the goal is in the future to be big enough as a company where all 32 teams can have their own individual host and they can have their own individual studio. So help us reach that point by liking the video. It really goes a long way to help grow this company. I've been here for nearly 3 years. I love my job. I love waking up every single day to come talk and hang out with you guys. So if you could like the video, I would really, really appreciate it. All right, now, with that being said, we're also having a Super Chat battle. If any of you guys want to get a little bit competitive, right now it's 15-0, Browns over the Falcons. So if you want to be the first Falcons Super Chatter and get on the board, remember, the Falcons took down the Broncos yesterday in Super Chats. Do they want to go 2-0 on the weekend? They did take down the Broncos, right?
It was neck and neck.
It was neck and neck. I think actually, did Denver finish ahead at the last moment?
I think they did.
I think they did. They lost by 9. You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot. Okay. So if you're looking for redemption, this would be a good opportunity to do that. We're at 38 likes on our Browns channel, 29 on our Falcons. Reminder, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. All right, should we run through some of Tom Downey's best available players?
We can.
I think that would be a good little primer for everyone to get ready for round 2 of the NFL draft. We are less than 40 minutes away. I can't wait. I actually like, this is going to sound crazy, round 2 and 3, just day 2 in general, I guess, more than day 1. Can I tell you why?
Go for it.
Day 1, we know the first 4 to 5 picks usually. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of them is a surprise. But my mock draft yesterday had the first 3, 4 exactly correct. So, everyone, I had the right guy, the right team.
Yep.
Subtle brag. Round 2, everything's possible. There's literally no shoo-in for even the first pick of round 2.
Right.
Every single year, there's a really good player or two who slips out of round 1, but that does not make him a lock to go to whichever team is picking 33rd. I love day 2 of the draft because this is where the casuals kind of step aside, and those of us that have been doing our prep and research for the last 3 months can really start to show everything we've learned about these prospects leading up to the draft. So let's run through our NFL draft expert here at Chat Sports, Tom Downey's best available players. At number 1, I couldn't agree more, it is Johnny Newton, defensive tackle out of Illinois. 2 back-to-back extremely productive seasons for the Fighting Illini. Last year, when people were watching Devin Witherspoon, the cornerback who went number 5 to Seattle, they were watching his tape. A lot of the scouts were like, oh yeah, Witherspoon's good and all. Who the hell is that in the middle of the defensive line, though? And is he in the draft? No. Ultimately, he went back to Urbana-Champaign for another season. He added on to his draft resume. I think last year he could have been a 3rd-round pick. This year, I thought he'd be a 1st, but I do not see him getting past the top 10 picks in round number 2. So Johnny Newton, definitely my favorite player available as well. At number 2, it's Jackson Powers Johnson. He was the nation's best center last year. There are some concerns about his concussion history, but if a team can look past the injury concerns, he'd be a really good immediate starter for almost any team. At number 3, it's Alabama's Kool-Aid McKinstry. He did suffer a foot injury leading up to the NFL draft, but the expectation is he'll be ready to roll by the time training camp gets underway. But still, when he was at Alabama, he replaced Patrick Surtain, the all-pro corner, when he left for the draft. 3-year starter for the Crimson Tide. You can play him inside. You can play him outside. He gave some of the best SEC wide receivers fits in 2023. Go talk to Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. Which cornerback do they hate going up against? That guy. At number 4, it's Ladd McConkey from Georgia. Maybe the savviest route runner. He's not number 1 probably in this class, but he's definitely not very far from it. Now, he suffered a lot of injuries at Georgia, which meant his production took a big dip. But in the NFL, it's not about just being athletic. Everyone's strong. Everyone's fast. It's about reading defenses and knowing, okay, I have a quarter of a second to make a split-second decision as to whether or not I want to run a go route, I want to come back, I want to go to the sideline, I want to go to the field side. And he has to know which decision to make and know what his quarterback is going to do. Ladd McConkey did that to a T at Georgia. At number 5, it is Iowa's Cooper DeJean. Great special teams upside, a lot of punt returns. The Minnesota game should have been an Iowa punt return for a touchdown, but the referees robbed him of that one. But great ball skills, good open field tackler. There's a little bit of concerns about his fluidity. Like, he can run in a straight line, no problem. But can he go back and forth, left and right? That's where there's some question marks about him. But we're getting nitpicky here. At number 6 is A.D. Mitchell. I'm a little surprised he slipped out of round 1. There was some buzz that there's off-the-field concerns with Mitchell. I'm not going to speak to that because I never met him in person. But that could be a reason as to why he fell out of round 1. At number 7, it is offensive tackle from BYU, Kingsley Suamatia. Listen, if you take this player, you have to buy into the fact that there needs to be patience involved. He had 2 years starting for the Cougars, 1 year at right tackle, 1 year at left tackle, so he knows both positions quite well. I don't think he's ready to start week 1 in 2024. It's going to take a little while for him to get up to NFL speed. At number 8, Zach Frazier from West Virginia. Center, maybe starts as a guard and then kicks into center in a few years, but nevertheless, he's one of the best interior O-linemen. At number 9, it's the best linebacker in this draft, Jedrick Cooper from Texas A&M. He's very fast. He's an absolute speed demon. He's going to get in the backfield. He's going to make plays. Now, sometimes that's actually a problem because he overruns things. He doesn't stick to the book, and it causes for him to miss some easy tackles along the way. But the playmaking abilities, they are there. At number 10, I'm going to go with Michigan's Mike Sanderstill. Guy started as a wide receiver at Ann Arbor. Then he made the flip over to cornerback. He was a leader on the Wolverines defense last year. Incredible ball skills, really surefire tackler. Overall, high football IQ, high level of competitiveness. I think whatever team gets him is going to really like that pick. And then at 11, Keon Coleman, wide receiver from Florida State. Another guy that flirted with being a round 1 to round 2 player. Excellent red zone threat. We just need to see a little bit more from him outside of the 20-yard line. And at number 12, if you say Kansas State offensive lineman, that's all I need to hear. In my brain, that guy moves cows for a living, and that's going to make for a great starting offensive lineman. We'll run through the next 4 here, and then we'll get you guys back on screen and involved. At number 13, Michigan's wide receiver Roman Wilson. He was awesome at the Senior Bowl, which raised 2 questions for me. Why didn't we see more from Roman Wilson in the regular season? And why didn't we see better plays from J.J. McCarthy if he had this hidden gem in Roman Wilson? I'm very curious to see maybe one of these 2 players have a much more successful pro career, and we look back at their time in Michigan going, oh, that guy maybe carried the other player. At 14, it's Troy Franklin. He is a big-time playmaker, vertical threat down the field. I don't think he runs a very extensive route tree. He's probably not going to be a guy that you throw to on 3rd and 6 to move the sticks. But I think that his 176-pound frame could be easy to dislodge and knock off a route, but it's also going to allow him to get into the second level of the defense. At 15, it is Washington's edge rusher, Braylon Trice. I'm not too fond of the day 2 crop of edge rushers. My personal favorite is Jonah Ellis out of Utah. And then at 16, it's Braden Fisk from Florida State. Some of the draft nerds are getting up in arms about him having short arms. What I saw from Fisk was a guy that played with serious competition and found a way to the backfield every single time in key games like the ACC Championship and other games down the stretch. Now, before we get you guys back on screen, a quick shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks. Today's show is made possible thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? It is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. They also have a wide variety of stat projections, including for the NFL draft, season-long projections for the stats like Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Malik Neighbors. So if you like my selections, feel free to ride with me by downloading the Prize Picks app and using code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, download the Prize Picks app and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Prize Picks for supporting us here at Chat Sports. Make sure you get started today. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Who is the most underrated player in the 2024 NFL Draft? Let me know who the guy is that everyone else is just kind of glossing over, and you're like, you know what? We're going to look back at this draft class and think, how the heck did we let that guy fall out of the top 10? For me, I would probably go with Brock Bowers. I think he is as surefire as they come at the tight end position. He fell to the Raiders at 13. And I've got no doubt that when we inevitably do the exercise in 3 years about redrafting the 2024 NFL Draft, there is no chance Brock Bowers falls to 13 in a redraft. But let me know who you think the most underrated player is. Mike Dibble, good to see you, dude. First asking, is there a super chat menu? Dibble, largest super chat from our Browns stream. We've got an Amari Cooper jersey giveaway. So that's what we got on tap for everyone hanging out with our Browns channel. Peyton Wilson is what Dibble is going with. The NC State linebacker that if he's able to stay healthy, there's a lot to like. But the long injury history, we saw a guy like Nakobe Dean from Georgia, who I was much higher on coming out in the draft process, fall all the way to round 3 because of injury concerns. I think you could see Peyton Wilson take a similar fall. Let's see. Randy is going with Johnny Wilson, the Florida State wide receiver. Floyd says Jonah Ellis. I don't mind the Jonah Ellis one. I don't like the edge rusher class all that much this year, especially after the top 3 guys. But I think Jonah Ellis is my 4th favorite. I would personally go Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, Leatu Latu, Jonah Ellis, and then probably Chop Robinson. So let me know who you think the most underrated player is. Soul Train, good to see you, dude. Roger Rosengarten, the offensive tackle from Washington. He played right tackle, I believe, for the Huskies. He was protecting Michael Penix's blind side. This could be someone that if he's available at round 2, pick 54, the Browns rush his name in because he does have experience on both sides of the offensive line. And I go back to what Andrew Berry, the GM for Cleveland, shared, that he keeps a diary of all the mistakes he's made as a GM so he can go back and remember those mistakes so he doesn't repeat them. And part of me wonders, does he view drafting Jedrick Wills, a right tackle, to play left tackle as a mistake? And maybe he does not make that mistake again if he's searching for a new left tackle post Jedrick Wills. Most underrated player, Smitty says Squirrel White. Did Squirrel White enter the draft? I don't remember the Tennessee wideout entering the draft. Maybe he did. Yikes. He would be something. Maybe a special teamer. Let's see. We got Tim Green here. I agree with Soul Train, but Keith Randolph, Illinois defensive lineman. He's kind of been in the shadow of Drazan Newton, but there are a lot of people that think, well, everyone's watching Newton. I'm watching the guy right next to him, Randolph. I don't like that. I don't dislike that name right there, Tim. Very good one. Dem Bird says Michael Penix. Oh, I don't know about that one. I like Michael Penix, too. I really do. I really was looking forward to see where Penix went because I was going to be the one that was going to be dunking on other people for saying Penix sucks because I thought he would have a great NFL career. Well, his GM said that they could set him 4 to 5 years. He'll be pushing 30 under Terry Fontenot's timeline. Now, Terry Fontenot was deliberate with his word choice because he just signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year contract. So if he said we could see this guy start in 3 years, that would be the biggest middle finger to your new quarterback because you're already saying we don't see you filling out the entirety of your contract. So we'll see when Michael Penix ends up starting. The crazy thing about the draft is people get super, and understandably so, passionate one way or the other about draft picks.
Yep.
And then we have to just wait. Not a few months, not even 1 year. I think you have to wait 3 years, 3 seasons to know definitively.
Definitively, yeah.
Like sometimes you can know really quickly. Like Josh Rosen was just like, there's no ifs, ands, nors, buts about it.
Yeah.
But there are some other guys where you got to go, we're not really sure just yet. Like if you gave up on Tua after 1 year, you'd be wrong right now.
To an extent, yeah.
If you thought Tua was going to be an absolute bust,
Right.
you
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't think he'd be the NFL passing leader in a few short seasons.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
we'll have to wait a while to see whether or not the Penix pick was a good one or not. I'll tell you what, if Dallas Turner is the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, that could be a fireable offense for Terry Fontenot.
Could be.
Just right there alone. Passing on him. Speaking of Michael Penix, who's going to be the better NFL quarterback? Michael Penix or Bo Nix? Drop a name for which Pac-12 quarterback, RIP, you think is going to have a better NFL career. I like Penix more. The difference is Bo Nix has a chance to start in 2024. I don't see Penix starting until 2026 at the earliest, unless Kirk Cousins suffers a major injury. Kirk Cousins just simply has not looked like he's anywhere near the stage of being benched, right? I don't think unless Kirk Cousins just does not rebound well from this Achilles injury, which if that's the case, why the heck did you sign him to that big contract? Like there has to be a ton of belief. When you spend $180 million on a quarterback, he will be 110%. So I would go with Penix still, just because I think Bo Nix is going to make a really good backup quarterback, but I don't view him as a long-term starting quarterback in this league. But let me know what you think. I'll give some shout-outs right now. Dibble says Bo is in a better situation. Ty Man the Buckeye is going with Michael Penix. Big Rob says Nix is in the perfect system. Carson says Big Penix. I like that. ATL fan says for the rookie season, it'll be Nix, but later, most likely Penix. The also crazy thing about sitting Penix is He doesn't need to sit. He's played 6 seasons of college football. I don't really know how much more he needs to learn about the game.
Yeah.
Not that he's like coming in at his peak, but he knows how to read defenses. Like, this isn't a Zach Wilson situation who is 21 years old. No. This guy played a lot of football in college. I don't think he needs to sit to learn the position much more than he already does. Now, before we get into the draft here, if you are watching our coverage right now on your TV, your tablet, or even your phone, take a screenshot, take a picture of it, tweet it out, tag me at Matthew Petey, and I'll give shout-outs to every single person that does that, and I'll even put your picture on screen for everyone watching to see. So take a picture of you watching right now, tweet, tag me at Matthew Petey, and I'll start giving shout-outs to everyone who does that. We'll circle back on this in a few minutes, so get your phones out, take a picture of you watching and hanging out with us, and get it on screen for everyone watching to see. Free Durden Bo Nix is 24 years old. Yes. Dream Petey, sorry about that screenshot. You hyped him back up then. Watch tape. Dude's a stud. Arm is a cannon. As long as he isn't a Jamarcus Russell clown. I have never come at the angle that Michael Penix is a bad quarterback. Have I ever said those words, that he's bad at playing quarterback? No. The entirety of my stance has been the reasoning and the logic to take Michael Penix, given by Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris, the GM and head coach for Atlanta, is flawed. They cited the Green Bay Packers model of taking Jordan Love. Jordan Love was not a top 10 pick. He was a 26 overall pick, which means if you missed on Love and he wasn't good for whatever reason, you weren't out a major draft pick. For Atlanta, if you miss on Penix, you are out a top 10 pick. And on top of that, Jordan Love was not drafted to a team that had just signed a quarterback to a $180 million contract. He wasn't. Penix is going into a really awkward situation here, and I feel bad for him because his draft day has been slightly tainted because no one's really all that excited for him. The Falcons did him a little bit dirty. Sure, he's probably very stoked about getting picked 8th overall and the paycheck that will follow, but I am just not on board with taking a quarterback in the top 10 when you had just signed a quarterback. If you liked Penix so much, answer me this. Why sign Cousins? It's almost as if the Falcons were like, holy shitballs. We didn't think Penix would be here at 8. Of course he was going to be there at 8. He was going to be there at 28. I would have preferred, if anything, take an edge rusher at 8 and then trade back into round 1 if you really want Penix. Like, you can make do with that. But instead, the Falcons make no additions to help their 2024 and 2025 seasons out. All right, before we get on to our pictures from Twitter, quick sub count here on our Browns channel. We're at 34,093 subscribers. Falcons today's at 21,138. So a reminder, go ahead and subscribe if you have not already. Join the best YouTube communities for your favorite team. The more subscribers we get, the more studio space we get. And this is literally a black and white thing. We are unfortunately going to sign off at the end of round 2 because a bigger studio is going to need this space for round 3. If we have more subscribers, I can stay live for all 7 rounds of the draft, like the Bears channel, the Raiders channel, 49ers, Eagles. That's what I want to get to. So please, please, please consider helping me out. And in exchange, you're going to get free content. And if you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. Probably shouldn't say that, but I want to be honest with you all.
And of the people. He's not lying either. I mean, it is seniority here.
Today. Chaos here.
It is very. But we're here to provide the best content. So while we're here, we're going to make the most of it.
Oh, Mike Dibble tweeting out a picture. Love it, Dibs. Are you in the photos?
I am not.
Okay. I'm going to put Mike Dibble's photo in there. We'll throw it on screen for everyone to see.
Okay.
You want to be on screen like Mike Dibble? There we go. Mike Dibble, appreciate you tweeting out the photo. Thank you so much for supporting us. Dibble always one of one when it comes to being at the top of the food chain for the Cleveland Browns report.
That's an interesting face I'm making right there.
Yeah. The screenshot game is a mean game. There's no question about it.
Caught me lacking.
If you want to get on screen like Mike Dibble's picture just did, take a photo of you watching the channel right now. Tag me at Matthew Petey, and we'll throw it on screen for everyone watching to see. We got a super chat rolling in from Soul Train. Soul Train.
Soul Train. Oop, that's not
Jared Roush, previous super chatter.
There we go.
What pick would make you question a future trade? What do you think? I don't know.
What pick would make you question a future? Oh, I see what he's saying. So he's basically asking, like, if the Browns take somebody at 54.
Oh, I see. Who could they trade away as a result because of that selection? Is that what you're saying? Like how the 49ers taking Ricky Pearsall, like people wondering, are they going to trade Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk?
Yes.
I think that's what you're asking, Soul Train. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. I'm not really sure if there is a pick for the Browns that would make me think a trade's incoming. They traded Troy Hill away during the draft 2 years ago, so it's not a foreign concept to Andrew Berry. Yes, I guess if they took a corner, I still don't think they would trade Greg Newsome, because why not just hold on to him for this year? Like, you don't have to pick up his fifth-year option, and you just have a really, really deep cornerback class, and you're not going to get a great pick in return for Greg Newsome. So I would say maybe left tackle if they want to move on from Jedrick Wills. That would pretty much be the only one, though. Soul Train, really appreciate your question, though. We got Dr. No with a super chat. Dr. No, our resident Dolphins fan who hung out with us 2 years ago for the Browns-Dolphins game in Miami, coming off the bye. Nick Chubb had a touchdown run in the fourth quarter. Rah! Dr. No, I don't like the Chop Robinson pick. I'm really sorry to burst your bubble. I think in college football, if you cannot generate sacks, you're not going to get to the NFL and figure it out. That's not the same for every position. Like, if you don't have a bunch of touchdowns in college football as a wide receiver, that could be because of the scheme, your quarterback. Those are very dependent on other people in positions. Edge rusher in college football, it's mano-a-mano, right? It's you against the guy in front of you for 60 minutes. And if you can't find a way to get to the quarterback, I don't care how big, fast, or strong you are, I'm not convinced you're going to find a way to do that in the NFL, which is why I'm not super high on a lot of these round 2 edge targets. So for Falcons fans watching, I know that's a big need for Atlanta. I don't know if they're going to reach on one or if they're just going to play it safe with the best player available and then maybe circle back to edge in round 3 of the draft. Dr. No, trust me, I don't either. I would have preferred Jazon Newton for Miami. Like, that's your Christian Wilkins replacement. He probably won't ever get up to where Christian Wilkins was his final year with the Dolphins, but he won't be too far off. So I did not like the Dolphins selection of Chop Robinson. Would have preferred Johnny Newton if I was Miami. Do appreciate your super chat, though, Dr. No. We're up to 20 buckaronis on the Browns stream. Still looking for our first super chat on our Falcons stream. Who wants to break the seal? Who wants to be the first one to get in the middle of the middle school dance and get the party started? Got ATL fan in the chat. I've got Free Durden. Will Ladd McConkey fall to 43? This is why I like day 2 of the draft more than day 1. The answer is maybe. That's usually not the case in round 1, though. Ladd McConkey could fall to 43. Last year, the Blindikoff winner, Jalen Hyatt, fell all the way to round number 3. These guys fall. When it comes to round 2, team needs really start to take a priority because the difference between players on their big board gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So if you've got a wide receiver and a linebacker that you have similar grades on, you may take the bigger need for your team. Wide receiver, say. And then that linebacker starts to fall if he keeps going up against other guys and teams that don't need the linebacker. So Ladd McConkey could very well fall to 43. I wouldn't bet on it. I just think he is going to go within the first 10 picks of our first 8 picks of round 2, but wouldn't say anything definitively. We got some super chats rolling in from Rydell88. Listen to Colin Cowherd take on Penix to feel better. That's not going to make anyone feel better. Colin Cowherd, as entertaining and as drawing as he is, I really don't actually trust his knowledge on the NFL or college very much. I think he's a fantastic storyteller, and that's what people gravitate towards. But if I actually want X's and O's analysis, he is one of the last people I'd ever go to.
Yeah, he's got a job of covering basically national stories. So he's not going to be like your everyday like beat reporter that's like covering the team and really studying and honing in on the key details. Right. He's just trying to give a broad spectrum of everything.
Like, I know I watched more Michael Penix film the last 3 months than Colin Cowherd did.
100%.
Like, and that's because we are in different spots in our jobs, right? So Colin Cowherd can come in with some great Colin Cowherd analogy as he always does. It's not going to convince me that this was a good pick for Atlanta. But ultimately, like every other draft, we just have to wait. Nothing's going to change from now to next week, next month, the month after that, the month after that. I'm not going to make a solid decision on this pick even after 2024 and probably after 2025.
So Rydell says, I didn't say he's right. I said you'll feel better. That's what he said, LOL.
Okay. Excuse me, I jumped the gun on feeling better means like he's right. But if you don't think that's the case, okay. I will
Can I ask you, Rydell?
I will take your suggestion. I'll go check it out after the draft tonight.
Rydell, can you just tell me if it was a marriage analogy from Colin Cowherd?
Okay. On a scale of Colin Cowherd analogies 1 to 10, what was it at?
Yes.
Give us that number, and that will definitely dictate my entire opinion on this before I listen to it.
Yeah.
Dr. No with a $2 super chat. Dr. No, go Dolphins. Appreciate you, Dr. No. Miami could be going a handful of directions. I'm thinking interior offensive line, though, for them in day 2 of the draft. Dr. No, thank you so much for tuning in, though, and always supporting us here at the Browns Report and Chat Sports. As Christopher Stofira is hopping in the chat with a $2 super chat. If you want to get on screen, super chats will get on screen automatically. Let's get big dog offensive tackle, 6'8", 335 pounds from the last video. I believe you are talking about Kingsley Suamatia. Can we pull up the scouting bios?
Yep.
There's him and there's Patrick Paul. They're all big dude. That's kind of the crazy part about offensive linemen is offensive linemen, I don't know how anyone forecasts they'll be a bust because they're all the same size as the guy they're replacing. Like, you're not like, ooh, this guy's 6'3", 275. I'm not so sure about him. No, those guys don't exist. I believe you're talking about Kingsley. You can correct me if I'm wrong here. I'll pull up his exact weight for you because I don't memorize these guys' weights. And they're all mammoth human beings. Kingsley is 6'5", 326. No, you're talking about Patrick Paul. Let's pull up Patrick Paul's scouting bio. Patrick Paul is the 6'7", 331. You're right. That's where I actually had my mock draft this morning. Okay. Patrick Paul, a lot of starts at left tackle. That is something that I think the Browns could gravitate towards because he comes in with loads of experience at that position. Chris, I don't hate this selection. I don't think the Browns are going to make a sexy pick today. I know that's probably not the exciting thing you want to hear, but they just don't really have to. I one time had an opportunity to sit down with the Tennessee Titans play-by-play guy in college. He was visiting Tennessee and had the opportunity to kind of like pick his brain a little bit. And I learned a lot about how teams operate in the draft. And his name is Mike Keith. And he talked about how on his computer, he doesn't work at the front office or anything, he keeps a spreadsheet of every player on their roster, and he color codes it based on what year their contract is expiring. And he talks so much about always thinking 1 year ahead. And when the Browns have a guy named Jedrick Wills on an expiring contract this year, it may not seem like a big need for 2024, but teams are always thinking down the road as well, especially an intelligent group like Andrew Berry and the Browns. So don't be surprised if they take a guy that doesn't see the field much at all this year. They did that last year with Cedric Tillman and Siaka Ika. I think there's more patience in Berea than the fan base realizes. Eric, next one up. What are the chances that we get Kool-Aid in round 2 for Atlanta? I'd put the chances, and make sure to rotate the top one too, Cullen. I'd put the chances at 40%. I've got a tough time believing he'll get past the Arizona Cardinals. Although, if they go Cooper to Gene, that could change things. So, I just don't see that one happening. Sorry, I got distracted. I don't see that one being a lock. I'd put it at like a 40% chance. Barry Brazil, let's draft some defense. Go Falcons. The Falcons channel making a bit of a push right now in a super chat race with our Browns channel, 23-14. So anyone's ball game early on right now. Let's get some defense. Do not disagree. You spent a lot of money on your offense. Your first round pick was on offense. Time to go defense. So the question becomes, do they reach on a pass rusher, or do they go with a much higher ranked player at cornerback? They may not feel like they're going to find a good edge in round 3, but they could still find a good edge rusher in round 3, and good cornerback in round 3. So they may flip-flop them and wait to go corner in round 3 and go edge in round 2 because they like some guys in round 2, but they don't like any guys in round 3. That's a possibility. Rydell dropped 5 loud F-bombs in Marietta's T-Mac last night. Were you on the T-Mac? Were you on the Twitter space? The Falcons Twitter spaces, when that pick was made last night, were hysterical. But I have not been to the Marietta Taco Mac. I don't think I have. But let me know what wing flavor you got there. I like the honey chipotle, although every time I sweat. Rydell, I feel your pain, dude. Appreciate your super chat, though. Okay. Let's see. We got a super chat rolling in from Soul Train. We'll catch up on all these super chats here as we are a little over 5 minutes away from the start of day 2 of the NFL draft. I've got Oren Smith in the chat. I've got Carson, Dem Birds Be Dirty, Lav S, ATL Fan, Christopher Gamble. Soul Train, what's your opinion on Luke McCaffrey for day 3? He scored a lot of touchdowns at Rice. I'm somewhat inclined to just be optimistic about his ability to find a way to the end zone. Obviously, that's not going to just carry over in the NFL, but my opinion on most guys in day 3 is I'm not even all that interested in like the production or the physical traits. When it comes to day 3, I put more emphasis in special teams value because most likely that's what you'll be doing if you're a day 3 pick in the first 2 years of your NFL career. So can you play special teams well? And then I want to know about the character makeup. Like, are you a guy that's always been the most gifted and talented person on your team, and you've kind of coasted off of that, and you've never had to work super hard, and then you're going to get to the NFL, and you're no longer the fastest and strongest guy, and you're going to start having to work hard for the first time in your life? If that's the case, I'm probably going to go a different direction. Now, before we get started for day 2 of the NFL draft, quick shout out to our friends at Prize Picks. Today's show is made possible thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? It is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. They also have a wide variety of stat projections, including for the NFL draft, season-long projections for their stats like Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Malik Neighbors. So if you like my selections, feel free to ride with me by downloading the Prize Picks app and using code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, download the Prize Picks app and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Prize Picks for supporting us here at Chat Sports. Make sure you get started today. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. All right, guys, if you are ready for the NFL Draft Day 2 to get underway and for your team to finally make a pick, spam me in the comment section below. I'll be giving shout-outs to everyone who spams me. But we are just a few moments away from Day 2 getting underway. So go ahead right now and start spamming me. I've got Ty Man the Buckeye, Orrin Smith, Cody Massey, ATL Fan, Mike Dibble. Just reminded, did the guy ever come back to win the remembered? Dibble, I'm not on the, obviously, main Chat Sports channel coverage at the moment, but I haven't heard yet. But I'll know because I'll go over there during round 3 of the draft. I've got, right now the chat is being won by the Falcons stream, by the way. So let's see who can spam me more, the Browns chat or the Falcons chat. Right now it's in favor of Atlanta. They're also winning in just that. Likes and super chats favoring the Browns. I've got Bob B, Ray Bidding, good to see you, Ray, Ken Adams, Christopher Stofira, your boy Chuck, Robert Hall, Barry Brazil, Eric Rodas, Bob B, Corey, Dibble, Orrin Smith, ATL Alien, basically, Ty Man the Buckeye, Randy, good to see you, Randy, remember you yesterday, FNO Sammy, your boy Chuck, Kev Dog, longtime viewer right there, and Kev Dog, Robert Hall, Robert Van Naden, Mr. Lewis, McLovin. Got a lot of me's. Let's go. Spam me if you're ready for a pick. All right. We're going to get round 2 of the NFL draft. Oh, we got Soul Train watching. Let's go, Soul Train. I got Doc Plusher. This is Kev the Greek. The Penix was worst top 10 pick in history. Next, DeMarcus Russell. I'm not going to agree with Michael Penix as a bad quarterback. That is not the crux of my disagreement with this selection. It's 100% timing related. And also, one more thing. A lot of people have come in defense of the pick to point out, well, Kirk Cousins could get injured. Are we seriously going to start acting like teams should use top 10 picks for backup quarterbacks just in case the starter gets injured? Is that something that we've always done in the NFL? Hey, I know there's a really good wide receiver, but you know what? That Bo Nix guy, he could be a really good backup for you. What? No. That has never been a thought. If that was the case, why did the Bears not go quarterback at pick 9? Caleb Williams could get hurt. Stop it. Will not entertain that idea. I'm going to throw Soul Train's tweet on screen. Appreciate you, Soul Train. All right, start spamming me. You are ready. Who do you want? Spam the player that you want your team to draft. I want to shout out who you guys want to see your respective teams draft. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Lad McConkey. Let me know right now in the comment section who you want your team to draft. I see Spencer Rattler. I will say a top 10 tweet of the year was the Falcons are going to trade up in round 2 to secure Spencer Rattler as a replacement for Michael Penix when he retires. Today's show is made possible thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks. Edrin Cooper's coming in. Gerald says Ben Sinnott. Dibble and Ken Adams going Edrin Cooper. Tim Green, Edrin Cooper. Have I inspired everyone to go Edrin Cooper, or did you guys all get to the same thought on your own? Canadian Bacon says who dat. Chris, I love Jordan Wolf. Robert says Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean's a unicorn. He is a white corner, so you got to just acknowledge that. They don't come around every single year, but he's a pretty good one. Robert says Kool-Aid. ATL fan says trade for Hendrickson. Don't disagree with that. We did put in a photo from Soul Train. Soul Train tweeted out, tagging me. If you want to get on screen, take a picture of you watching the stream, tweet it out, tag at Matthew Petey. We'll put it on for everyone watching. So appreciate you, Soul Train. Which is kind of strange because it's like I don't know, a mirror into myself. It's like, so this is what you guys see. I never looked at it that way. From my angle, I'm watching the TV behind the camera, a mini TV in front of the camera, a monitor in front of me, and a big white wall. And no one there. But I can all picture your faces, as creepy as that sounds. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm in a mental hospital, and I'm just having a blog for myself. So, we got Super Chat from Tim Green. Yes, Timmy, what's going on? Should Andrew Berry give up pick 156, that's my Boy Scout troop number, to trade for Deebo Samuel, or is that too much? I don't think it's too much. I don't think Deebo's going to go for as much as people think he will. He is older, expensive, and has shown injury history the last 2 seasons or so. I think the 49ers may be a bit surprised that there's not a long list of suitors willing to give up a second or a third. I think he may get traded for maybe a 4th or a 5th. Could be a pick swap where the 49ers move up in a round. But I don't think 156 is too much. I don't think the Browns are going to do it. They've traded for 3 wide receivers in 3 straight off seasons. So they've already made their offseason trade. My suspicion is Andrew Berry is confident with the room he has right now. But we are talking about Andrew Berry. He is a trade addict. If he sees an opportunity to improve the roster, and the only reason to not do it is because of money or because he's a coward like the Cowboys, that won't be a thing that stands in his way. All right, make sure to subscribe, by the way, if you are just joining us for the first time ever. Hit the sub button down below. If you are already subscribed, type me in the chat. That way those people that are on the fence about subscribing can see what a big and great community we're building here. I want to see this channel get bigger and bigger by the month, by the day, by the week. And I need subscribers to do that. And unfortunately, I've already asked all of my friends and family to subscribe. So now I'm down to strangers. Soul Train, if they get Deebo, do they trade Elijah or simply not re-sign Amari? I don't think they would ever pick Deebo over Amari Cooper. So it would likely be Elijah Moore does not come back. So that's your answer, Soul Train.
Speaking of that, will the 49ers trade Deebo or Ayuk? It's kind of a big talking point when we walked into the office this morning.
Yeah.
Talked with our 49ers host, Chase Sr. Mm-hmm. He said Deebo could potentially be on his way out.
Yeah, would not be blown away based off the Ricky Pearsall pick. Now, the 49ers, I don't think are going to be forcing a trade. I think if they get a good offer, they are much more open to it now.
Right.
But Ayuk is entering a contract year.
Yep.
Deebo has 2 years left on his deal. Jawan Jennings, third and Jawan, has 1 year left on his deal. Mm-hmm. Worst case scenario, Ricky Pearsall just has a very small role in this year.
Yep.
And then next year, he probably replaces one of those 3 guys.
I would say so. Yeah.
So the 49ers, I don't think are rushing to trade someone. But if someone gives them a good offer, maybe a week ago, they'd be like, we don't want to do that. We don't have a replacement for him.
Yeah.
Now they do. So it really makes things a lot easier for the 49ers and allows them to be more flexible.
It does. And honestly, planning ahead, planning for the future, like you were talking about earlier, PD, it's a smart way franchises operate. So the Niners kind of exercised that last night and kind of a surprise pick. But if Ricky Pearsall is, I don't know, 70, 80, 90% of the player that either Deebo or Ayuk is, I think they'll take that for a cheaper contract.
I can see it. Our Browns channel is at 85 likes. That's 15 likes away from 100. Falcons is at 62. Let's see who can get to 100 likes first. 85 for Browns, 62 for the Falcons. Race to 100 is on. Cleveland's got the lead. 14 likes to go. Falcons at 63 likes. If you have not hit the thumbs up button yet, please consider doing so. It really helps boost the channel a ton. Browns up to 90 likes just like that. They're 10 likes away. Falcons up to 75. They are 25 likes away. Can they close the 15 like gap Browns up to 94. 6 likes to go. Falcons up to 79. It's getting close. Who's going to get to 100 first? 99 for Browns. 79 for Falcons. 87 for Falcons and 104 for Browns. So the Browns win the first race to 100 likes. Bobby Means, next one up here for Super Chats. As Roger Goodell is on stage. First off, everyone spam boo. Boo Goodell. Even though personally I kind of like Roger Goodell. What he's done for this league is incredible. Like, he has made football, bigger than I think anyone thought it could ever get because it was already so big. And now they just control our entire lives and schedules. But spam boo. It's a tradition unlike any other. Boo! Spam boo. Scorpion's here. Good to see you, Scorpion. It's been a little while, I feel like. Flag football being promoted right now. NFL hedging their bets a little bit, I think.
Just a little bit.
Just leaning into the flag football just in case, the whole contact football thing doesn't work out. Spam boo.
Spam boo.
Spam boo. Falcons is 1 like away from 100.
They've been killing it. The likes.
Are we able to rotate the Xavier Legette thing?
We are.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, he just told me to not. So, have it.
What?
I'll do it though.
Ray Bidding, I'm out of the kitchen now. I can focus on the draft. Let's go Browns. JJ McCarthy, speaking to Detroit Lions fan base right now. That was kind of strange.
Yeah, they just put him on the big screen like a supervillain.
Oh, I forgot. They were honoring the Michigan Football National Championship right now.
Interesting.
Is JJ back for that? I doubt it. He was just in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2023 Michigan Wolverines National Championship squad walking on the stage right now.
We did get a couple of super chats.
It's a little strange. I don't think they've ever done that before, but maybe because the draft's in Detroit. Bobby Means, I think Cooper DeJean will be a Falcon. I could see it. Definitely could see it. Especially because Atlanta needs some help on special teams. That has just been a third of the game that outside of Younghoe Koo, they haven't generated a big spark. So I don't hate the idea of them going for Cooper DeJean because of his punt return and kick return abilities. Avery Williams is coming back from a torn ACL. They did sign Ray McLeod, but I think with the new special teams rules, you can't have too much on that side of the football. Scorpion, next one up. Glad to be able to watch college has kicked my ass. Understand that, Scorpion. Yeah. 4 great years at the University of Tennessee as a communications major, journalism, and electronic media. I learned we have a very easy major. So if you're in a much more difficult major, I sympathize, but I can't relate, as my major had a lot of movies. We watched like 42, we watched Moneyball. My friends always made fun of me that I went to college to watch movies. And you know what? I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
Had a great time. Look where it got me now.
Not a bad gig.
No. All right. Make sure, by the way, to go ahead and tweet a picture of you watching our stream. Tag me on Twitter at Matthew Petey. That way I can put it on screen for everyone watching to see. I'll give you a shout out. We've done that with Soul Train so far, and Mike Dibble, Robert Lawrence, Doc Pleasure, who is Kev the Greek. Hit me up on Twitter at Matthew Petey. Take a picture of you watching and then tweet it at Matthew Petey. That way I can give you a shout out and show you some love for supporting us here. I like this next question here.
Oh, here, hold on. Where'd it go?
The most overrated.
Yep.
Who is the most overrated player in the 2024 NFL Draft? I would go with... You You got to be picked high to be overrated. I'm not sold on Latu. Colts pick at 15.
I don't feel like that's too high.
It's not high enough. J.J. McCarthy. That's kind of the simple answer. Like, the thing with J.J. McCarthy is there's a small amount of volume that shows all the throws he can make. To me, it's just too big of a gamble not seeing it in bigger capacity to warrant a top 10 pick. Like, the guy threw it 18 times in the national championship game for 140 yards. If you're taking a guy top 10, it's because he can throw for 300 yards in the Super Bowl. Can JJ do that? I don't know. But I wouldn't bet the top 10 pick on it. That's just too risky of a pick in my eyes.
That's fair.
All right, the Buffalo Bills are on the clock as we get set for day 2 of the NFL draft. Buffalo could trade out, although if they were going to, I think they probably would have done that pre-draft. We saw that last year for the Tennessee Titans who moved up to get Will Levis. So with pick 33, what do the Bills do? They lost Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis in free agency and trade. So could we see them add another wide receiver? That would make a ton of sense to me. Adonai Mitchell, the Texas wideout, would be the most logical pick given where he is on so many boards. But maybe the Bills board is a little bit different. So we'll have to wait and see. But the draft room in Orchard Park, New York, has some work to do. They lost a lot of key players.
They did. A lot of mocks did have them going Keon Coleman, the wide receiver out of Florida State. So just another option.
Yep.
Personally, I like A.D. Mitchell more. I think he's just a better, more complete receiver at the next level. But Keon Coleman definitely has his strengths. Could definitely fill that X receiver role for Buffalo.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. But I think it's got to be a weapon here, right? You got to give Josh Allen something. I mean, they have 2 tight ends.
And the pick is in. It is exactly what we talked about. It's Keon Coleman. It is Florida State's wide receiver, Keon Coleman, for the Buffalo Bills at pick 33. So, Coleman going to Buffalo with big shoes to fill, right? Moved on from Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and you bring in Keon Coleman, 6'3", 213 pounds. Reading the notes I have down on him. Started off at Michigan State, so for anyone in the Northwest area or Midwest area, you might remember the name. Last year, he had 11 touchdowns, led the team in receiving, although he only had 658 yards. So I don't think we've seen an extensive route tree from Coleman. I think he's a really good red zone target, someone that I'm sure Josh Allen will enjoy throwing it up to near the goal line. But ultimately, I think the catch radius is very wide and large, but I do have concerns about the play style maybe not holding up long-term in the NFL because he doesn't have that elite speed. 4.61 40-yard dash, that was a big blow to him in the combine. Now, he runs a lot faster with pads on. I think that was just a bad day at the combine, but the Bills can look back at this and go, ooh, we might have been able to see this one coming, or it was a steal because he had one bad day in Indianapolis, and we took advantage of that because he fell all the way to pick 33, and we traded back and acquired more picks. So the Bills go Keon Coleman, wide receiver out of Florida State with pick 33, and now we are on to the New England Patriots at pick 34, who took Drake May in round 1. I think they'd go wide receiver since their wide receiver room is so awful, but maybe not. Maybe they decide to go with an offensive tackle. We'll have to wait and see. But Keon Coleman, new wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen.
Yeah, he did have 8 offensive tackles go in the first round, so obviously it's dwindling options.
Yeah, good point.
So we'll see. A.D. Mitchell's definitely a name to look out for. Kingsley, I'm going to butcher his last name.
Suamatia.
It's an option for New England. Maybe a little rich at 34. Definitely some options, though. Patrick Paul. Just name a couple.
I'm a little surprised to see how far A.D. Mitchell has fallen.
I don't think he gets out of round 2.
No, I'd be shocked. I really would be. But this is the draft, and I did hear that this year's draft class especially, it's wide open in day 2. Like, teams have very different grades on different players. We got Aaron Williams, former second-round pick by the Bills, announcing the selection to kick off day 2 of the NFL draft. The 33rd pick in the 2024 NFL draft. The Buffalo Bills select wide receiver Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
So Keon Coleman. The notes on him, Marquise Colston as a comp. Okay. Kind of a deep pull there. 6'3", 213 pounds. He's a bit of a 50-50 jump ball receiver. Like, he is yards after the catch especially. He's tough to bring down because of his size. Speed's a question, but if he's able to improve from his 4.61 40-yard dash at the combine, this could be a really good steal for the Buffalo Bills at pick 33. It's not my top wideout in this draft, but, I mean, the above-the-rim elements of his game have been widely noted.
Showing a couple of highlights here against Clemson Tigers whenever they went into Clemson. And Florida State knocked off the Tigers and Dabo Swinney. Listen, I don't know how much Florida State football you watched last year, PD.
Yeah.
Their offense at times was painful to watch. It was either hand the ball off to Trey Benson or go one-on-one with either Johnny Wilson or Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Jordan Travis, heck of a playmaker, able to high point balls really well. And Keon Coleman was able to come down with a lot of great catches as we're seeing on screen. We'll see now, getting a more complex scheme, how Keon Coleman thrives, but hey, new number 1 wide receiver in Buffalo, arguably.
We got a trade. The LA Chargers are on the clock. They moved up with the New England Patriots. This has to be for A.D. Mitchell.
You think?
You have to assume this is for A.D. Mitchell.
I would think so.
They did not want to risk him not being there. I think they were originally slated for pick 36, 37. I think this is them jumping up for A.D. Mitchell.
I would agree.
If it's anyone else, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, jumping up 3 spots.
Yep. So the LA Chargers have traded up with the New England Patriots, and now the Chargers are on the clock at pick 34. Ooh. Get into the weeds of day 2 of the NFL draft with trades already underway. The Chargers went with Joe Alt in round 1. He's going to be their immediate starting right tackle. Jim Harbaugh, not surprised, wanted to go offensive line in round number 1. That has been the foundation of his success in his football coaching career. And the Chargers pick is in. Who are they going to go with? Ultimately, the Chargers and the Patriots swapped 34 for 37. And in exchange for moving back, they swapped pick 110 and 137 to make up for the three spot drop.
This has got to be A.D. Mitchell.
I think it's got to be. Let's go. Come on. And the Chargers are going with Ladd McConkey. That's what I had in my mock draft.
Okay.
I got that one. Not the right pick number, but I'll take the win.
Yeah.
There we go. So the Chargers move up and they go with Georgia wide receiver Ladd McConkey. And the Falcon stream is likely in semi-shambles right now. He will not be staying in the Peach State. Ladd McConkey is going to the LA Chargers. And Justin Herbert has a new wide receiver 2. I think Josh Palmer probably graduates to wide receiver 1 after losing Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. But Ladd McConkey will go to LA, and he'll serve as a number 1, maybe number 2, depending on how training camp goes. But the Chargers trade up for the Georgia wide receiver, Ladd McConkey. I like this move by LA.
I like it too.
I like the pick. I'm high on Ladd McConkey. Never thought that he would really fall much further than 40 over the last month or so. That became more and more evident to me. But we'll get the pick on screen. Ladd McConkey, the selection for the Chargers at pick 34. As former kicker for the Chargers.
I was about to say, do you want to try to pronounce that last name?
Nope, I do not. Not Morton Anderson. I'm not interested.
Fair point.
Okay. So the Chargers at pick 34. We see back-to-back wide receivers go. I think this is actually okay for the Browns and the Falcons. Mm-hmm. I never thought either team was going to go wide receiver in round 2. Mm-hmm. So it's not the worst thing in the world to see a run at a position you're not going after. That means guys you do like could get pushed down to you. It's not that bad. I know Ladd McConkey was a fan favorite for Falcons fans, but I didn't think the Falcons were going to go wide receiver at 43, especially after going quarterback in round 1. I really think this pick has to be defense. So every offensive player that gets taken before them is just going to increase the odds of them getting the number 1 defensive player they want. Same goes for the Browns if they were going to go offensive tackle, for example.
Yeah, Ladd McConkey obviously didn't have the most productive season last season, dealing with a couple of injuries, but really good inside the slot, really good at using his football IQ to get open in the slot. I think he's going to be a really productive chain mover at the next level. And now he joins an offense. Justin Herbert, Gus Edwards, Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey, and of course Joe Alt, who they drafted yesterday.
What was I going to say? I don't think we'll see a lot of production from Ladd in year 1. Mm-hmm. I just think that because he has missed time due to injuries in college, there's going to be a little bit of a longer learning curve for him in the NFL. But I think once he gets going, he's going to be a technician that's going to be tough to slow down. 100%. I don't think he'll ever be a wide receiver that can just take over weeks, but I think he can pop off for big games from week to week. So the Chargers move up and get Ladd McConkey. A.D. Mitchell still available. Arizona Cardinals are next at 35. They went Marvin Harrison at pick 4. I think they'd go offensive tackle maybe at this spot.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went interior offensive lineman. Either.
Yeah, they went Paris Johnson last year at pick number 6.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, could they double up on receiver? I mean, they just drafted Marvin Harrison yesterday. They also had Darius Robinson.
Trade! Falcons are trading up.
Okay.
The Atlanta Falcons are trading up. I repeat, the Falcons are on the clock at pick 35. The Atlanta Falcons have just traded up for the 35th overall pick in the draft with the Arizona Cardinals. Back-to-back second rounds where they trade up, and now we wait and see who they get. Could it be Illinois' Johnny Newton? That would be a Grady Jarrett replacement, which has kind of been the tune of Atlanta Falcons drafting so far down the road. But Atlanta on the clock at pick 35. Brace yourself, people. Here we go. Spencer Rattler's still available. The Falcons have given up pick 79. So they're down to 1 third-round pick, and they got pick 35 and a 6th-rounder. So they swap second-rounders, and then they give up a 3rd and receive a 6th. We'll get all that information on screen for them.
Yep, we will.
We'll get the trade details. Falcons are on the clock, swapping second-rounders and giving up a 3rd while also receiving a 6th. What is the pick for Atlanta? We wait. Could it be A.D. Mitchell? Could it be Newton?
A lot of different options.
Yep. Falcons traded up last year for Matthew Bergeron. Took him at pick 39, if I remember correctly. Who do they go to this year? Pick 35. Waiting for the pick. Falcons are drafting defensive tackle out of Clemson, Rook Orororo. So the Clemson DT is the pick for Atlanta. He is a monster of an interior defensive lineman. Excellent against the run. The Clemson defensive tackle, Rook Ororo, is the pick for Atlanta at 35. We're going to break down this pick. We're going to give you guys everything you have to know about it. But the Falcons trade up to 35, and they go defensive tackle with the 35th overall pick in the draft. Let me know what your initial thoughts are. Personally, would have preferred Illinois' defensive tackle, Jerzon Newton, but ultimately it is Rook Orororo. Orororo. That's how the pronunciation guide has it. It doesn't sound like that could even be right, but
it is.
I almost sound like I'm doing a bad Scooby-Doo impression. But that's the pick, everyone. And there it is right there. Someone just did a Scooby-Doo. I know. It is Rook Orororo. Orororo. All right, so let's get you guys familiar with Rook Ororo. He is 22 years old, 6'4", 294 pounds. This defensive tackle class doesn't have a ton of 300-pound plus sea monsters, but there's a lot to like about Rook from a athletic trait standpoint. So we're going to break down this pick, tell you everything there is to know about the newest member of the Falcons defensive line, and then we'll get you guys input on the selection during the video. Colin, are we ready to jump into it? Are the depth charts still there? Let's do the 3-wide one. Sounds good? All right. Boys and girls, let's talk about the newest member of your Atlanta Falcons, Rook Orororo. With the 35th pick in the NFL draft, the Falcons traded up with the Arizona Cardinals, giving up one of their 2 third-round selections to select Clemson defensive tackle Rook Orororo. So we're going to get you guys familiar with the newest member of Atlanta's defensive line, tell you everything there is to know about him, and then I'll give you my analysis and reaction to the pick. But here's our scouting report on the Clemson big fella. First off, really good size, 6'4", 294 pounds. He kind of played all over Clemson's defensive line. Started 3 years there, primarily a 3 technique for them, but you can also see him maybe bumping a little bit inside or outside depending on what the down and distance is. Last year for the Tigers, 25 tackles, 5 sacks, 1 pass breakup, and 26 pressures. So he has an ability to get after the quarterback, and the Falcons desperately need pass rushing help, and the hope is Rook can generate some pressure from the interior of that defensive line. Now, I've got more to share with you guys on Rook, but first, grade the pick for me. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to wait to give you my draft grades at the very end of day 2, but get in the comment section right now, drop a letter grade for me and how you feel about this selection for Atlanta. For me, I think it's a very fine position to go after. Defensive line needed some help. Grady Jarrett's 30 years old. He's coming off a torn ACL. I would have preferred Jerzon Johnny Newton. Felt like there was much higher pass rush upside to him. A little bit puzzled as to how he continues to fall in round 2 of the draft. But Atlanta really liked this guy. They made a trade last year to move up to get Matthew Bergeron. I felt like this was a little bit of an overpay. They jumped up 8 spots, gave up the second of their third-round picks, but they also picked up a 6th-rounder from the Arizona Cardinals. So Rook Orororo comes over to the Falcons. He's been a longtime player for the Clemson Tigers, 3-year starter, like I mentioned. The notes I have on him when it comes to some of his best attributes and qualities, super athletic and long arms. And I know that's really nerdy, but when you get into day 2 of the draft, you're not going to always find the best production. So you're looking for guys that have physical traits that with the right coaching can be untapped. So Rook, definitely one of the better athletes for his position. When he's pushing 300 pounds, he ran a 4.89 40-yard dash. Now, you don't ask your defensive tackles to run 40 yards in a straight sprint, but it does give you a good indication of he's got a good first step to his game. He's got some good quickness. You know who else had that coming out of college? Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett was not some overweight defensive tackle. He was a lean, mean, fighting machine. And I think Atlanta sees a lot of those similar traits in Rook, and they ultimately decided we have to go get help for our defensive line. The defensive tackles in this draft class, I think, are a little bit deeper than the pass rushers, which, crazy thought, maybe you should have gone pass rusher in round 1, but we've spent way too much time talking about that. Let's give Rook some of his own credence here. Now, before we get on to the rest of my breakdown, I do want to shout out our sponsor, Prize Picks, for a quick moment. Today's show is made possible thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? It is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. They also have a wide variety of stat projections, including for the NFL draft, season-long projections for the stats like Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Malik Neighbors. So if you like my selections, feel free to ride with me by downloading the Prize Picks app and using code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, download the Prize Picks app and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Prize Picks for supporting us here at Chat Sports. Make sure you get started today. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. And what do you know? Right after the Falcons took Rook at pick 35, Dan Quinn led Washington Commanders at pick 36. They took Jerzon Johnny Newton. So we'll have a pretty good idea in a few years which team made the right selection. Atlanta ultimately going with the Clemson defensive tackle. Now, here's what the Athletic's Dane Brugler had to say on Ororo. Ororo's underdeveloped pass rush instincts and finishing skills cloud his next-level projection, but he displays intriguing movement skills and force at contact to continue getting better and better. Now, when you look at Atlanta's defensive line, I don't think Rook's going to be a week 1 starter, but I think he can be a solid rotational piece with Onyemata, Grady Jarrett, Kentavious Street, James Smith-Williams, and Zach Harrison. Atlanta still has some question marks when it comes to getting after the quarterback, and I really don't believe that getting Rook is going to satisfy those questions, but there are more picks to be had in this draft, and there's more work for Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris to do. But ultimately, the Falcons made a decision when it came to which defensive tackle do they want, the Illinois DT or the Clemson DT. My personal preference was Jerzon Newton. Ultimately, time will tell which one made the right pick. Now, quick reminder to go ahead and subscribe here to Falcons Today. We're going to keep you guys in the loop for all draft picks throughout the entirety of the 2024 NFL Draft. So if you are looking for a one-stop shop for every single pick made by Atlanta, hit the sub button down below. Now, our very own draft expert, Tom Downey, had him ranked as his number 4 DT with an overall ranking of 55. But it is worth noting that when you get to day 2 of the NFL Draft, everyone's big boards across the league are wildly different. So for me, I don't look at that 55 and get too hung up on it. Now, it was a decent trade, a 3rd-round pick going over to the Arizona Cardinals. So that means the Falcons only have 1 3rd-rounder, pick 74, which we'll break down for you when we get to that stage of the draft. But Rook Ororo comes over to the Falcons. Excited about this pick because it does come at a position of need. I do feel like the Falcons' defensive line is on the older side with Onyemata and Jarrett being on the wrong side of 30. Last year was Calais Campbell. They need a little bit of youth injected into this defensive line. I question the selection, but I don't mind the position they targeted. Now, who do you want to see the Falcons draft next? I could see them going cornerback, maybe Jonah Ellis, edge rusher out of Utah, the younger brother of Caden Ellis, when they're back on the clock at 74. But let me know who you want to see the Falcons draft next down below. And for one last time, Rook Ororo is the pick for Atlanta at 35 after a trade up with the Cardinals. The spark notes on him is sub 300 pounds, so don't look at him as a tree stump. No, he's going to have some pass rush upside to his game. He's got really good quickness, good speed, good length. I think there's just some polishing that needs to be done. And when you've got a defensive-minded coach like Raheem Morris, that's sort of what you're paying him to do when you go out and get defensive players in the early stages of the draft. So Rook comes over to Atlanta. Definitely a better pick than the first one they made. They went Michael Penix at number 8 overall, which I've already kind of given my piece on that on previous videos, so I'm not going to just be a broken record for you all here. But reminder to subscribe to the channel as we give you guys pick-by-pick analysis for the entirety of the 2024 NFL Draft. So, Jer'Zhan Newton goes to the Commanders, and then we have Jalen Polk go to the New England Patriots. So Drake May does get a new wide receiver to throw to. At pick 37, they go with wideout Jalen Polk, which came after the Jer'Zhan Newton and Rook Aroro selection by Atlanta. I'm thinking they go DB, Falcons that is, in round number 3. Super chat rolling in from Soul Train. Appreciate you, Soul Train. Does that make Jonathan Allen available via trade? That's a good point. Jonathan Allen playing a similar position. I don't know if it makes him available. Sorry. I don't think that means that the Commanders are going to be like actively shopping Allen. I think it makes him much easier to part ways with if a team gives him a good trade offer. But my suspicion is they are happy to have a good rotation for the first year and then go from there in 2025 if they get great production out of Newton. But that could be someone that Andrew Berry pursues. I mean, anytime a player comes available for a trade, when you start thinking about who could trade for that guy, the Browns are going to come to mind because they just love making trades. They just do.
Just want to point out that just like we just did with the Atlanta Falcons pick, here at Chat Sports, we break down everything that we can for the NFL Draft. And we got guys like Petey, great guys that have put in a lot of effort and work here that want to put out the best content possible for you guys. So if you guys can subscribe to our channels here at Chat Sports, we would greatly appreciate it, everything. It's free to do so, and we're trying to earn your subscription. So, hey, if you like the content that you see, hit that sub button down below.
By the way, the Cardinals have 5 picks in day 2 of the draft.
Okay.
A second with the Falcons, and then 4 third-rounders. Something tells me they're going to try and bundle some of those thirds to move up in round 2 again.
I can see that. Jalen Polk, though, over A.D. Mitchell?
Yeah, A.D. Mitchell. That's the draft faller right now.
Big one.
Big one indeed. Mitchell. Not even one of the first 10 wide receivers taken. We had Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze, Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, Jalen Polk, Ladd McConkey, Xavier Legette,
Ricky Pearsall.
And
then there's
I thought, 9. Maybe I'm forgetting one more.
Oh, here, let me get the draft pulled up. That might help.
The Browns are on the clock almost, sort of. Pick 43. So, 54, I beg your pardon. So we have a little bit of a break here between the Falcons pick and the Browns pick.
We said Worthy, Pearsall, Legette, Polk, Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman.
Oh, I had to say Keon Coleman.
There's
10.
There you go.
Titans pick is in. The Titans are taking Texas defensive tackle T'Vondre Sweat.
Okay.
So, Tennessee, I had them in my mock draft taking Jer'Zhan Newton in round 2. I thought they'd want to go defensive line. Clearly, I think their top preference was taken. So they kind of settle for Texas's T'Vondre Sweat. He's the biggest guy in the draft, essentially, at that position. 360-plus pounds. He is a nose tackle, right? Whereas Rook is 70 pounds lighter. Like, he's going to be able to finagle his way into the backfield from time to time. T'Vondre Sweat's job is to sit in the middle of the defensive line and just swallow up offensive linemen to free up linebackers to do their job. Now, the concern is when you take a guy with 360-plus pounds to his name, he's not going to be the greatest athlete. He'll probably struggle maintaining a healthy weight, and he probably won't be able to go at a high level with a good endurance. So there's some work to be done for the Titans coaching staff, but we see some of the biggest defensive tackles have good careers, like Vita Vea. It's just on this coaching staff to get him into an operational weight to play at a consistent level for 4 quarters in 17 games.
Yeah.
T'Vondre Sweat, pick 38. 3 defensive tackles in like the last 4 picks.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting that Johnny Newton was looked at, I guess, by a lot of NFL scouts in the same range as not only Roop, but T'Vondre Sweat.
Yeah, great point. Did we put Soul Train Super Chat on screen already?
I don't. I thought we did.
If we did.
We can put it up there again. This one. John.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Here you go.
So now we wait for the Carolina Panthers at pick 39.
The Panthers.
Come on, Carolina. Dude, I also agree. I'm telling you all, I could have it wrong, but the pronunciation guide I see for Rook is quite literally Rook O-Ro-Ro-Ro.
Yep.
So maybe I don't say it so fast.
O-Ro-Ro-Ro.
Rook O-Ro-Ro-Ro.
It literally looks like you're talking to a dog. When you're
I feel like I'm Shaggy.
Yeah.
And I'm calling Scooby to make a sandwich.
Yep.
Curtis B, good to see you, dude.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right. While we're at a bit of a commercial break, by the way, can we throw on our Venmo deal?
Yes.
Let's do that. We're doing something a bit unique-ish. It's been a little while, but if you Venmo, it's Venmo only, not Super Chat. Venmo only, $5 to Matthew Petey. And when the draft is over, I'll write you a handwritten letter with all of my thoughts and analysis on every single selection made for your team. So if you want to get a bit of a personal touch and some more in-depth reaction analysis to all the picks made, $5 Venmo, and I'll send that over to you after the draft is over. You just got to include your address in the Venmo so I know where to send it to. So not for Super Chats, but for Venmo only. Venmo at Matthew Petey, $5. I'll give a shout out to everyone who sends one in. Greatly appreciated for those of you that support the channel and myself in more ways than one. Parker Davis with a $10 Super Chat. Trade. The Rams are on the clock. The Rams have traded up with the Carolina Panthers.
Man, oh man.
Parker Davis, do you think we will trade for Trey Hendrickson? What do you think it will take to get him if we do? Also should have taken Degene Cooper. I say Degene Cooper. I got Cooper DeJean, Jerzon Newton, and Kool-Aid. Yeah, Parker, don't disagree with the last part there. Like, the thing about the draft is it always takes a little while to know whether or not you made the right selection over another player. Because, like, all of these guys could be good. Then it just comes down to who's the best. I'm kind of in the same camp about Newton for sure. Not kind of. I am in the same camp. What would it cost to get Trey Hendrickson, though, Parker? I think you could get Trey for a third-round pick. Like, Khalil Mack was traded to the Chargers a few moons ago for a second. And he was better, but more expensive. I think a third probably gets it done. That'd be my selection.
I tend to agree.
All right, so Parker, really appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend.
T'Vondre Sweat.
So the Rams trading up. Could be looking at different positions here.
I think they're going to go offensive tackle. In
Okay.
my mock draft, I had them taking Kingsley Suamatia.
Okay.
That will be my prediction.
Yeah. They need to get younger on the offensive line.
They do. They need help at right tackle.
Yeah. So that could be a potential option. I also wouldn't rule out a potential tight end here in Jatavian Sanders. There was rumors that they were potentially looking up to trade for Brock Bowers yesterday.
Yeah.
But who knows? We'll see what the Rams do here.
Some thought T'Vondre Sweat could have been a day 3 guy. He got, I don't want to say this, but I will, because it's like such a damper for him on his big day. But he got arrested for a DWI. There were character concerns. Ultimately, well, the good thing is he's going to Nashville. And there's no fun that ever happens in Nashville.
None.
Hardly a bar scene there. There's really not a whole lot to do. So he should definitely not get in any trouble there in Nashville.
I would say so. I agree.
I hope you can pick up the sarcasm.
I know.
Okay, thank gosh. Because you were looking at me like, Dude, I think P's kind of a fucking loser. He's never been to Nashville. All right.
Never,
so the Panthers and Rams swapped third-round picks, and the Rams gave up a second-round pick next year. That's the price of jumping up 13 spots, a future second. And the Rams are taking Florida State defensive tackle Braden Fisk.
Interesting.
So if the Browns wanted defensive tackles, they're gone. All of them. That's it, folks. The DTs are out of here. The Rams trade up, use a second-round pick this year and a second-rounder next year to get Florida State defensive tackle Braden Fisk at pick 39. Started his career off where? One of the Michigans. One of the directional Michigans. Guess which one? I think it's Central.
Western? No.
Western.
It was Western.
Yeah. Played 5 years there. He's a bit of an older cat. 24 years old. 1 year at Florida State. Back-to-back 6-sack seasons, though, between Western Michigan and Florida State. Really good athleticism to his game. 6'3", 292 pounds. So a little bit smaller than Rook, who we just talked about earlier. But the difference is he runs a 4.78 40-yard dash. Mm-hmm. So that's a player that can follow a pulling guard, get into the backfield, and make a big tackle. Now, when you're on the smaller size of things, you're going to have to overcome some big offensive tackles. But you know what? Aaron Donald was never over 300 pounds. Mm-hmm. He actually, I think, did pretty well for himself, despite not being the biggest at his position. So you might see the Rams try and repeat the Aaron Donald lineage of athleticism at that spot.
Yeah, not only that, they did invest in the pass rusher position yesterday with, Jedrick Wills?
Yeah.
Was their first pick. So they are clearly investing in getting after the quarterback.
We got a super chat rolling in from Ray Bidding. Ray Bidding. Looking to me like the board will push an unexpected talent being available to the Browns. Can we run through Tom Downey's best available really quickly?
I can.
So, Ray, appreciate the super chatting question because I got my own wheels turning here.
Here we go.
So, here are Tom Downey's best available players. Kool-Aid McKinstry, really good corner from Alabama. Cooper DeJean, A.D. Mitchell. I think the Browns like Kingsley Suamatia, the BYU tackle. That could be another name to watch for. Jedrick Cooper still available. He's still available. Troy Franklin's another guy that has been rumored-ish to the Browns. At least some interest has been expressed. Those, to me, are the two names to watch for Cleveland. Eagles traded up. Eagles are on the clock. They traded with the Commanders. Oh, they might go Jedrick Cooper. Oh, no. They could go Jackson Powers Johnson. I think it's one of those two picks. Oh, they took Cooper DeJean. Wait a minute. Honest question. In my round one mock draft, I had the Eagles taking Cooper DeJean. Does that count? I got 11 correct in round one. I think 11 and a half. The Eagles traded up and they went with Cooper DeJean.
The Eagles are saying we are investing in our secondary. My God. Cooper DeJean, the defensive back out of Iowa, can play all three positions, nickel, outside, and safety, and he is going to the city of brotherly love.
The Eagles gave up pick 50 and 53.
Wow.
Along with 161 for 40 and 78. That's kind of good news for the Browns. Let me tell you why. The Eagles were a team that could have taken Jedrick Cooper. They need help at linebacker. That's one less team between the Browns and the current team on the clock that need linebacker. Oh, boy. Andrew Berry is definitely getting, I got to imagine, like a little bit angsty.
Just a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Here we go. Cooper DeJean to the Eagles. Let's update the Super Chat battle really quickly between the Browns and the Falcons stream. If you're just joining us, we're doing a simulcast. That's the proper terminology. as it is just balls to the wall here at Chat Sports, to be brutally honest with you guys. We don't have enough studios for all 32 teams, so we got to have some sharing going on. We're sharing. The Eagles and 49ers are sharing. Super Chats are a great way to support the channel. Helps us knock down, like, the Berlin Wall, a.k.a. the realtor's office right next door of ours, so we can expand Manifest Destiny, get more studios so each team can have their own studio. So our Browns channel is up to $44 in Super Chats. Falcons is at $28. And the Falcons channel has, by the way, taken the lead on likes. They're up by 4 likes. So it's 1-1 right now, with the tiebreaker being which team is more active in the chat, which it seems pretty tied here. Mason B. PD, great job this week. Thanks for the live analysis. Spot on as always. Mason, really, really appreciate that. Saints trade up. Saints trade up. Saints trade up to 41.
My God, so many trades. Holy.
So many trades. Falcons have traded up. Did you put in production about the cut?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, DK. DK got it. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Sorry. Should have communicated with you.
No, I kind of forgot about myself.
Hey, we're all good.
Our boss, Brett, is freaking out. He
Yeah.
spends so much, and he knows that it's coming, but not to this level.
Yeah.
He puts together an excellent schedule of, like, you have this pick, you need to be in this studio at this time.
Yeah.
And we know that trades happen, but we're like, please just don't happen too much.
Right.
I don't think more than 2 teams have actually picked in their correct spot so far in round 2.
It's been chaos. Yeah.
Saints have traded up to 41. Earlier, by the way, the Atlanta Falcons took Rukaroro. Let's give a little bit more insight on that in just a moment. But first, a shout out from our friends at Prize Picks. Today's show is made possible thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? It is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. They also have a wide variety of stat projections, including for the NFL draft, season-long projections for their stats like Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Malik Neighbors. So if you like my selections, feel free to ride with me by downloading the Prize Picks app and using code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, download the Prize Picks app and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Prize Picks for supporting us here at Chat Sports. Make sure you get started today. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. The Eagles traded up. They went Cooper to Gene. And the Saints then traded up and took Kool-Aid McKinstry. Falcons fans, I know that's a player Atlanta, or at least Falcons fans, were hoping to get. Ultimately, if there was one other team you didn't want to go to, it was the Aints. And that's exactly where Kool-Aid McKinstry ends up. So the New Orleans Saints trade up for Kool-Aid McKinstry after the Falcons traded up for Rukaroro, the Clemson defensive tackle. He's not a nose tackle. Don't think of him as just some run-stopping DT. He has size. He's nearly 300 pounds, but he's got some pretty good athleticism and speed. I think they are looking for their next Grady Jarrett, a defensive tackle that can rush the passer. I don't think this is going to be an overnight pick, meaning it's not just going to pay off immediately. There's definitely some molding that has to be done. I don't dislike the pick too much, but I also would have preferred other guys like Jerzon Newton and Kool-Aid McKinstry, just players I had higher on my big board. Now, make sure to subscribe, by the way, here as the Texans are on the clock. We got some super chats rolling in. We'll catch up on all those in just a moment. Houston Texans are on the clock right now. Cooper DeJean to the Eagles, and then Kool-Aid McKinstry to the New Orleans Saints. Sam Clance Nevertheless, $5 super chat from Sam. Sam, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. You have no idea how much it means when you guys spend your own hard-earned money to support us here at Chat Sports. So thank you, Sam. Hope you're having a good day, my man. And we got a super chat coming in from Life of Ham as well. That's just going to take a moment to load. But Life of Ham with a $20 super chat. Ayo! Life of a Ham. Let's go. My honest opinion is that we are terrible. Okay. And it'll never change. But I'm going to stick besides them and screw the Browns. I'm going to say screw the Browns battle, I think is what he meant to say here. With that $20 super chat, Falcons today now has the lead in super chats and likes. So they're up 2-0, and even if you give the chat to the Browns, it'll be 2-1 Falcons still. Can you restart one of the two down here? Just because I hate how they're like at the same spot in the draft. Thank you. Sorry, I'm being a bit picky. So the Eagles, by the way, added another DB, Cooper DeJean. But Life of a Ham, thank you so much. I hope that this Michael Penix pick is not one that Falcons fans look back at and go, what a joke. It's just tough to envision how it doesn't get to that point. Okay, what are the Rams giving up a 20? I do like the pick for New Orleans. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I think, was a really solid pick. Okay. Browns still waiting. Pick 54. And the Texans are going to select Georgia cornerback Amari Lassiter. Another Bulldog is taken. Amari Lassiter is the pick for the Houston Texans at 42. So we saw a run of defensive tackles earlier, Cullen. Now there's a run of corners. Cooper DeJean, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Amari Lassiter. If either the Browns or Falcons were hoping to secure one of these corners, maybe you see them try and trade back up again, at least for the Falcons. Unlikely, though, in my eyes. But we see another corner go off the board here as Houston takes Amari Lassiter. Really good football player, just not a great athlete. But you know what? Give me football players over athletes. Honestly. How often do we see track stars just not work out in the NFL?
All the time.
How often do you see guys that were so good in college football suck? I feel like it does happen.
It does.
Just
There's no perfect science to it.
Nothing's 100%.
Shout out to Ray Bidding. Cough it up, Falcons fans. Let's go Brown.
Ray Bidding with a $2 super chat. That brings the Browns within 7 USD of the Falcons. Falcons also leading in likes. Ooh. Are the Bills coming up again soon? Don't they have a second rounder?
Might.
What if that's where A.D. Mitchell goes?
That would be a pretty nice little get there for the Buffalo Bills.
Adonai Mitchell still available. Man, I feel like this A.D. Mitchell pick has DK Metcalf written all over it.
It could.
Right, it was like, why did you guys let him fall that far?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this could be fun. What if the Browns go, listen, we had a plan. That plan ripped to shreds because A.D. Mitchell was still available. Ray Bidding with a $10 super chat. Let's go, Ray.
Let's go.
And that gives the Browns the lead in super chats, by the way. Very narrow lead, $3, almost to the exact penny. So Amari Lassiter is the pick for the Texans. I like the selection for Houston. Derek Stingley finally kind of got healthy for them and looked like a top 10 corner. Now Amari Lassiter maybe plays on the inside to begin. I love this from Bitter Truth Show. Bruh, what the fuck are you babbling about? We need a middle linebacker. One, they signed Jordan Hicks to a 2-year contract. I don't think they're drafting a middle linebacker. Two, if we have learned anything from Andrew Berry in the last 2 drafts, he does not care about that year's positional needs. He is there to take young, athletic players. A.D. Mitchell is that.
If nothing else.
A.D. Mitchell, like his Texas teammate, had a better 40-yard dash, but let's not act like A.D. Mitchell, 21 years old, with a 4.34 40-yard dash, would not be someone that catches Andrew Berry's attention. Jordan, who's he backing up? Bitter Truth Show. Would love to know. Another corner. Max Melton to the Arizona Cardinals at 43. I had the Cardinals going corner in my mock draft, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Ultimately, they just go with the Rutgers corner. Very experienced player, great ball skills, 4-year starter as a true freshman. When he stepped foot on campus at Piscataway, I can't pronounce it. Did have like an interesting run-in with the law. Did a drive-by paintball shooting. Okay, that's a first. Got suspended 3 games as a result, but there is a lot to like about Max Melton. His brother's on the Seahawks.
Yep.
What's his brother's name?
Bo Melton.
Bo Melton, thank you. He went to where?
He went to, oh my God. Hold on, that's going to bug me.
Where did Bo Melton go?
Give me a second. I want to say it's somewhere on the West Coast, but I could be wrong. Oh, he also went to Rutgers.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
There you go.
Oh, some Super Chats rolling in from Cody Massey and Eric Rodas. Cody, we'll throw it on for you. What position do we target next? I believe the Atlanta Falcons, with a run at corners, maybe they go edge rusher. And what have I been saying? The edge rusher class for day 2 is not good.
No.
There has not been one taken.
Sure.
So maybe they decide we weren't going to reach at round 2, but we're much more comfortable with one of these guys in round 3. I think it would be an edge rusher for the Atlanta Falcons next, especially with a big run at corners right now. Eric, what's going on? Let's trade up for Kool-Aid to get someone next to A.J. Terrell. Eric, are you sitting down for this?
Oh.
I'm so sorry. Not only is he gone, he is with the team that you want him to go to the least. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a New Orleans Saint. So I apologize, Eric, to ruin your Saturday or your Friday.
That's pretty wild.
Okay. We got a good Super Chat battle. It's 67 to 55 in favor of Atlanta. How does Cleveland respond? I know there's a guy named Mike Dibble in the chat who never likes to back down from a challenge. We learned that last night. All right, the Browns picking at 54 are 10 spots away. I never thought they would make a big jump up in the draft. Let's see if they just stay put and wait for their turn and they trust their board. Or do they get antsy and want to move up?
Boom. Current Super Chat numbers right there.
And TJ Showman Golf with a $10 Super Chat. TJ, long time-ish no see. It's been a few weeks, maybe months, but that's the offseason for us. Long time no see. Happy to be back for some Brownie football, even if it's the draft. For Browns fans, it's very strange to be on this side of the draft where they don't have a bunch of first-round picks, right? So used to, like, multiple firsts, Myles Garrett, David Njoku, Baker Mayfield, Denzel Ward. To go 3 years without a first-rounder, that is just, like, bizarro world. It's like when Elaine made other friends in Seinfeld. And we're the other friends right now. We're respectful. That's not usually how the Browns operate. But TJ, I love the draft. The draft is a top 5 sporting event for me. I love getting ready for it. I love the draft prep process. I love everything about it. The worst part about the draft is when it ends. Because now we have the longest wait of our lives. Because the biggest blue balls in the world.
The Raiders. They're drafting Jackson Powers Johnson.
Raiders move up for Jackson Powers Johnson, Oregon center. Biggest blue balls in the world is waiting for NFL Week 1 because training camp is the biggest tease in the world. We have to get super invested in these like guys that don't even make the roster. Who remembers last year, Austin Watkins? Didn't even see him play a snap. All right. The Raiders, is that the pick? Yeah. The Raiders at pick 44 are going with Oregon center Jackson Powers Johnson. Some dubbed him as the best center in this draft. Slight concerns about his concussion history. Yes, Cole? Oh, you dubbed him? Yeah. Oh, you're a big Jackson Powers Johnson guy.
I wanted the Seahawks to fucking take him.
Yeah.
But, hey, you know what? Raiders got a good pick. So.
They sure did. I agree with that. So Jackson Powers Johnson goes from Oregon to Las Vegas. Did you see the video yesterday of Brock Bowers getting selected? And everyone, he's at home. All of his family are super excited for him.
Yeah.
And his dad has like a come to Jesus moment when he's like, oh no, Las Vegas with my gambling addiction.
Yeah.
I'm banned from all the casinos.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not allowed in Las Vegas. John Thompson with a $20 super chat.
Let's go.
John, let's go. This battle is really heating up. It's favoring the Falcons by $22, or call it points for the time being.
Yeah.
John Thompson, rise the F up, ATL. John, thank you so much for your super chat. Really do appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Friday afternoon. Friday evening. It's 7 p.m. already.
Oh, my God.
You know what's throwing me off? It's so light out at the draft.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's nighttime.
It doesn't.
No. John, thank you once again so much, dude. Bitter Truth Show, let's go. $5 super chat. The guy who was coming for my job 2 minutes ago is breaking bread with me. I love that. I do love when people on the internet can just have a peaceful ending to a disagreement.
Yes. It's very rare.
Very rare. Bitter Truth
happen.
Show, good faith super chat. Salute to you, Bitter Truth. Thank you so much. What is the bitter truth? Give me a bitter truth about one of these draft prospects.
Bitter truth.
Yep, I got one.
Go ahead.
Concerned about Malik Neighbors from a OBJ diva standpoint.
Okay.
That's a tough truth for Giants fans to swallow.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think. That's a great question.
Oh no!
Oh,
happened.
Oh, what happened?
Jedrick Cooper's a Green Bay Packer.
Oh no!
Jedrick Cooper is a Green Bay Packer.
Dang.
Fuck.
Both of our guys go in the span of 2 picks.
Jedrick Cooper's a Packer.
God, Jackson Powers Johnson's gonna be a freaking beast.
Well, that's all for today, folks.
Yeah.
Jedrick Cooper to the Green Bay Packers. I can't act too shocked because I didn't think he'd really fall to the Browns. But as we inch closer, every pick it seemed like it went up and up.
It did.
Now I'm pretty locked in on the Browns going offensive tackle or trading back of the pick.
That wouldn't be a bad idea either.
Yep.
We'll get this super chat up on the screen.
Ryan Price, this is because of your reaction to pick 8. Love the passion. Keep it up, bro. Ryan, really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Or would you? There you go.
You know who would love that $10 super chat? Arthur Blank, because he wrote a $180 million check, and his GM just drafted that guy's replacement. Hey, thank you so much, Ryan. Really, really appreciate the kind words.
Yeah. Let us know down in the chat. Would you be down to trade down in the draft? A lot of people always talk about trading up, but not a lot of people talk about trading back.
Browns have not picked in round 2 since they took JOK in 2021. Right, they traded out of round 2 in 2022, got Martin Emerson in round 3. Traded out of round 2 in 2023 for Elijah Moore, acquired an additional 3rd-round pick. Do they finally make a 2nd-round pick for the first time in a long time?
Very long time.
Trade, Panthers are on the clock. The Panthers have made a trade with the Indianapolis Colts for pick 46, and Carolina is on the clock.
My, oh my. Wow.
So the Packers go Jedrick Cooper at 45. The dream is dead. Dibble, let me know what jersey you want for being the MVP yesterday.
Wow.
Panthers to go from 52 to 46, gave up 142 and 155. Pick 45 is one of the picks from the Broncos, sent the Saints in exchange for the rights to head coach Sean Payton. Saints trade to the Packers. So, Jedrick Cooper is partially a Bronco.
I guess so.
That'd be kind of cool to like a family tree of where you got picked, how that pick originated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
TJ Showman Golf with a $50 super chat! Everyone spam TJ in the chat. Let's go! TJ Showman Golf. Whoa!
Whoa!
That's going to turn the tide on the Jedrick Cooper overall depression. For Browns football, and because we hate the Falcons, here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Christopher Stofira, who is still available, go Dogs. We'll throw TJ's on. TJ, $50 super chat. You got to love the friendly little back and forth between the Browns fans and the Falcons fans. TJ, thank you so much. That gives the Browns the lead in the super chat battle, 122 to 97. TJ, you're awesome, dude. Thank you so much for supporting the channel like that. Christopher, who is still available, go Dogs. Let's throw on Tom Downey's best available, shall we? Christopher, off the top of my head, top guys available. A.D. Mitchell is one. Kingsley Suamati is another. Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Panthers trade up for Jonathan Brooks. We have our first running back taken.
Wow.
Jerry Jones is pissed.
He is so pissed.
Here are the best players. Oh, Jedrick Cooper is no longer available. That will get taken off in a little bit.
Yeah, but it still remains A.D. Mitchell, Sua, you're going to have to...
Kingsley Suamatia.
Matia.
Yep.
Zach Frazier, Sandra Still, Cooper Beebe, Roman Wilson.
Ignore Jedrick Cooper. He just got picked. It'll update in a little bit.
Yep. Braylon Trice, Jaden Hicks, Troy Benson, Peyton Wilson, Junior Colson, Tyler Newbin, Jalen Wright, and, of course, Jonathan Brooks has now just been announced to be picked. So.
Yep. The Panthers have selected Texas running back Jonathan Brooks. I like this selection a lot for Carolina.
I do, too.
I think Jonathan Brooks fell because of the torn ACL and the lack of production. But those are things that we can look back at and go, a little bit of a bad injury luck and a little bit of bad depth chart luck with a guy named Bijan Robinson ahead of him at Texas.
Right.
Really like this pick for the Panthers. Gives Bryce Young a great running back to hand off to, and he got a great wide receiver in Xavier Legette to throw to.
Yeah. And as we're approaching the 50 pick mark, why don't you guys get down in the chat and answer this question? Who's having the worst draft so far?
Yeah. I have to say it's the team that hasn't made a pick yet.
Yeah.
Like, the Browns are the only one that's not made a pick yet.
So by default.
Kinda. I mean, they haven't had a draft yet.
Yeah.
They're the only team not to pick yet. We got a $5 super chat rolling in from Gerald Myers. By the way, the New York Giants went Minnesota safety Tyler Nubin.
Tyler Newbin.
Nubin. I said Nubin? Nubin.
Newbin.
Tyler Nubin.
There's Gerald.
Minnesota safety to the New York Giants, Tyler Nubin. Gerald Myers, you really think we take Mitchell if he's still there at 54?
Don't rule it out.
Dude, the guy is, I'm going to read you just like what Andrew Barry is probably looking closely at. 4.34. Cedric Tillman ran a 4.52-ish last year, for reference. 21 years old and 6'2".
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, last year, 11 touchdowns. I would not rule out A.D. Mitchell. And, like, in my entire pre-draft videos that I put out on the channel, I was like, I don't think the Browns are going wide receiver, but I really want to stress, when you pick 54, I don't know what they're doing because the Browns don't even know what they're doing. They are in wait-and-see mode to see who falls to them. So it could be A.D. Mitchell. It could be anyone.
I do like that Tyler Newbin pick for the Giants. Obviously, they lost Xavier McKinney in free agency. They go get their next replacement for him.
Yep.
And, yeah, Giants looking to rebuild from younger talent. I like their picks so far.
Jonathan Brooks goes to Carolina. Panthers trade up to get Jonathan Brooks. The funny thing is the Panthers traded up. I don't know who they were concerned about in between them and the Colts taking Brooks, because the Cowboys were the other heavily rumored team, but they were behind what Carolina was originally slated. Okay, so Xavier McKinney has a replacement, Tyler Nubin.
Yep.
And the Jags are going to go with LSU defensive tackle Mason Smith. That was someone I thought the Browns could have some interest in. An all-time athlete in this draft. At a position where last year the Browns didn't go for athleticism in Siaka Ika. They went for size and potential. Not early return on investment from Siaka Ika, but still early in his career. So Jacksonville is going with LSU defensive tackle Mason Smith.
Yeah. Sam is, God, he is going through it right now. Yeah. I do not envy him at all. He is working his butt off right now.
Super Chat battle update, by the way. Browns is up to 127. Falcons has been stuck at 97 for a moment. But the likes are favoring the Falcons by about 14. So it's 1-1. And then the chat seems pretty even at the moment. If you're just joining us, by the way, Jedrick Cooper was picked by the Green Bay Packers at 45. Pour one out.
Pour one out.
Dalton, I know you're trying to get my goat right now. Dalton likes to do this to me, especially in the season. And the thing is, I'm a sucker and I get too emotional. Stop it, Dalton. I know what you're doing. Trying to ruffle my feathers. It's not going to work. Not going to give you the reaction you're looking for. Cody Massey, who's the best safety? Tyler Nubin from Minnesota was like the number one safety. Let me read you guys the other guys I have ranked after him. Jaden Hicks, Javon Bullard, Cole Bishop. Those are the other top 4 safeties I have. Hicks from Washington State, Bullard from Georgia, Cole Bishop from Utah. Kalen Bullock from USC is another popular name. It's not a very deep safety class. Now, I know Atlanta could have a subtle need for safety, depending on their view of DeMarco Hellams and Richie Grant. I don't think they'll reach on safety. I could see them waiting for a safety. Dalton, Rude, go back to Dalton's. Go back to Dalton really quick.
I don't know why he keeps doing that. I apologize.
That's okay. Rude, who do we even go with now? A.D. Mitchell. I think that may be it. I'm thinking if A.D. Mitchell keeps sliding, Andrew Berry will go, we're not letting you get past us, dude. Now, remember earlier I talked about how the Browns have learned from some of their mistakes? Mm-hmm. There are some character concerns that came out about A.D. Mitchell.
Yep.
The Browns have taken some red flag character concerned guys, like Perrion Winfrey. Do they kind of make that, I wouldn't say it's a mistake again with Mitchell, but that potential mistake again?
100%.
We're going to find out if he's still available.
It is. Soul Train, appreciate the $2 super chat. I'm nervously optimistic, hoping for a steal. I'm not going to lie, the closer we get to this pick, I feel a trade back. I don't know why. It's just...
I know. The Browns don't have a 4th round pick. They have 1 in the 3rd. I could see a trade because so many teams want to trade up right now. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Browns would turn down a trade option.
I don't know. It's my gut is telling me.
The Bengals at 49 go with Michigan defensive tackle Chris Jenkins.
Okay.
Chris Jenkins, the pick for the Bengals. That is your DJ Reader replacement. I thought they would do that in round 1 with Newton. They ultimately went with Amarius Mims because they're tired of watching Myles Garrett put his nuts on Joe Burrow's forehead. So there you have it. They go get their defensive tackle in round 2 with Michigan's Chris Jenkins.
As we get another super
$20
chat.
super chat from a first-time super chatter, Mr. Porter. Little 2-clap action. Little 1-2. Let's go, Porter. We got Ellis in 3rd round. Do not hate it. I like Jonah Ellis a lot from Utah. Production was there. Great first step in athleticism. He's not going to be the biggest edge rusher, so I don't think he's going to be a 3-down player in the NFL. But you put him and Caden Ellis on the field together, they've got to play faster and stronger alongside one another. Jonah Ellis from Utah. Terry, I know you're watching. Get a pen and paper, write it down. Make the pick at 74.
Make the pick.
All right, we're inching closer and closer to the Browns pick at 54.
Yeah.
Oh, Nelly. By the way, with that super chat from Derek Porter, it is now 133 for the Browns, 119 for the Falcons. So pretty neck and neck.
Yeah. Came to play today.
Gerald is feeling a trade back as well.
That's what I'm saying. Gerald gets me.
It's going to happen.
I feel like it is.
It's going to happen.
I feel like it is.
We're like, all right, well, that was a big waste of time. Wait, all
It's
this
never
time.
a waste of time.
No,
I know.
I know. I mean, like,
Petey.
we would wait.
Petey.
No. Not waste time.
Petey.
Like, I don't say disappointment, but just like a letdown. Like, we've been waiting so long to make the pick.
A tease.
Yeah, a tease. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
I gotcha.
Oh, boy. Jags at 48. We're way ahead of the draft.
Oh,
right
we
now.
are so ahead.
Yeah.
We are ahead. That's why, hey, this is why you tune in.
Oh, we're 2 picks ahead of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder, like, what do they do before Twitter?
What did they do before? Huh? I mean, unless you were on the ground.
I guess, like, the first year of tipping picks.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because, like, I don't think it was so widely known.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
probably
2011 Twitter. What was that like for the draft?
So guys like Pretty Ricky came to be.
Yeah.
It's a little chat sports joke, but yeah, Mason Smith.
My prediction right now for the Browns would be one of 2 spots. Kingsley Suamatia, tackle out of BYU, or A.D. Mitchell, Texas wide receiver.
See it. I could see it. Oh.
Oh, boy. We're getting closer and closer.
I know. Get nervous. Let's see.
So we got the Commanders on the clock here at pick 50. Now here's another team to watch for. What about the Steelers at 51? They love diva wide receivers. Antonio Brown, George Pickens.
Yep.
They traded Deontay Johnson away.
Mm-hmm.
They may go A.D. Mitchell.
They could. And that's the thing. Of course, Pittsburgh would get a wide receiver and make him into something.
Okay.
And here is the Cincinnati Bengals pick.
Bengals went with Chris Jenkins, Michigan defensive tackle. What are the Steelers going to do? First, what are the Commanders going to do at pick 50? And then what are the Steelers going to do?
Oh, very important question.
Yep.
Man, oh man.
Come on. Just excited.
Yeah.
Just excited. Love the draft.
God, we are. Who's got a better than us, Pete?
Bam, F Pitt if you hate the Steelers, or F the Saints if you hate New Orleans. Let's get the chats going.
Let's get the
Falcons
F.
chat hasn't moved in like 30 seconds. Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Let's get it going. Come on. Let's get some picks in, boys and girls. Cody likes Blake Corum. I don't like Blake Corum. I think Blake Corum benefited from a lot of touches. Knee surgery in college and a ton of touches concerns me. And it wasn't like he was uberly productive outside of the red zone.
Here's the thing. I'm a big Trey Benson guy when it comes to running backs. I think he's got the size, the speed.
Dude, that was your guy back in January.
It was.
I remember that.
And I think he's going to be the best running back in this class. I respect Jonathan Brooks. Respect Blake Corum. Trey Benson's going to be the best running back in this class, in my opinion.
Yep.
So, could that be a Browns pick? I did say when we did our Browns live stream before the draft, my bold prediction for the Browns was in one of their first 2 picks, they were going to go running back. Mm-hmm. Could it be Trey Benson? Could it be a running back at 54?
Commanders have been on the clock for like a century.
They really have.
I could see, as Cool Guy points out, them going Blake Corum. They're going running back in general.
Mm-hmm.
They did add Austin Eckler, but it's a 2-year deal, but it's basically a 1-year contract.
Not to mention Austin
They
Eckler.
have Brian Robinson, maybe they don't go running back this early.
I don't know.
I feel like if you get a rookie quarterback, you should get a rookie running back the next year. Putting them together, I think you should stagger the development a little bit.
Yeah.
Not have them both learning at the same time.
Yeah, because then at that point that stunts the other's development, or one of their development, or if not both.
Commanders are going with Michigan cornerback Mike Sanders-Still.
Wow.
Mike Sanders-Still, the cornerback from Michigan, is a Washington Commander. Did I have that in my mock draft?
You had Sanders still going to the Falcons, remember?
Oh, that's right. Oopsies. Mike Sanders-Still is a Washington Commander, and now we wait for the Steelers at 51.
Depending on who you talk to, and obviously depending on where Cooper DeJean plays in the NFL, this is arguably the number one slot corner going off the board here. So, huge get by the Commanders. And
I think everyone in Berea is holding their breath right now to see what the Steelers do.
Yeah.
They could go cornerback, TJ Tampa from Iowa State.
They could.
It's a possibility.
If they're trading away
Maybe a safety.
And A.D. Mitchell, that could be it.
So the Commanders go with Mike Sanders-Still at pick 50. The Steelers are on the clock at 51. Spam F Pitt in the chat, everyone. 300 people hanging out with the Spam F Pitt.
F Pitt.
Here we go.
Man, oh man.
Inching closer and closer.
God, he's such a beast.
I like Sanders-Still a lot. I know he's not your, typical corner. Like, his background doesn't scream it, but guy's just a beast.
Baller.
Really good pick by Washington in my eyes. Especially for a franchise that has a lot of history at the cornerback position. DB altogether. All right, what are the Steelers going to do at pick 51? Could it be A.D. Mitchell? I don't know, Jim. We got a first-time super chatter rolling in from Germany. Wow.
Wow. Shout out to Germany.
From Finn Lamp.
Second here,
Okay.
pull it up.
Wolverines going back-to-back there. 49 and 50, as Schefter points out. Finn Lamp, €5 super chat. Greetings from Germany. F the Steelers. We even got the Germans on our side. Let's go. F Pitt in the chat right now. Finn, thank you so much for your super chat. Really appreciate it. Also, shout out to Finn for watching at about 2 a.m. in Munich or Berlin.
The fact that you know that is pretty crazy.
I'm just kind of guessing. Like 7 hours ahead. 8, depending on what coast you're on.
Finn, if it is 2 a.m. where you are, I don't even know.
Yeah. All right. Come on.
Come on, come on. Na, 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 na.
What are...
Pick is in for the Steelers.
Pick is in for the Steelers. Don't be A.D. Mitchell. Don't be A.D. Mitchell. Don't be A.D. Mitchell. Don't be A.D. Mitchell. What's it going to be? What's it going to be for the Steelers? Just be like a boring tackle or something. I don't know. Be a safety. Be a safety. Reach on a guy.
West Virginia's
That's
Zach
okay.
Frazier.
Zach Frazier. Okay.
Zach Frazier.
That guy can deal with the safety.
Yeah.
All right. Big sigh of relief. Woo! Steelers go. I'm sure I'll regret this eventually too.
Yeah.
Zach Frazier.
Dang. That's
Very
another
short commute. Backyard brawl. Goes from
Yep.
Morgantown up to Pittsburgh. Sure he'll have a lot of fans waiting for him. Zach Frazier, the lineman, offensive guard / center from West Virginia, goes to Pittsburgh at 51. We're 2 picks away from the Browns.
Let's get it.
If you're excited, like the video.
Like it up.
Here we go. Zach Frazier, the pick at 51 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Versatile interior offensive lineman. Some had him as his number 1 center in the class.
That's now 2 positions on the offensive line after drafting Troy Bitonio in the first round. They didn't go double down with Zach Frazier.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, oh, man.
So Russell Wilson's got a better offensive line in front of him. For his, he hopes.
Yeah. I don't know. Dang, those are my top 2 centers. And they are off the board. Great pickups, I feel like.
Browns are 2 picks away.
2.
Colts, Commies, Brownies.
Man, oh man.
Woo! Getting closer and closer. Come on. I've got Matthew Peterson fans saying F Pitt because of Arthur Smith. Whatever gets you going. Milwaukee Bucks part owner Jimmy Haslam is currently in Cleveland Browns draft room as the Browns finally get on the clock. And his Bucks are pushing for a second OT. Oh, tough day to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Gotta have another TV.
A.D. Mitchell's there for you.
A.D. Mitchell is there. Guys, like I said, I don't think the Browns are going to go wide receiver because they don't really need a wide receiver as much as people make you think they do. But A.D. Mitchell may be too good to pass on. Did he get taken and we just didn't see it?
No, there's no way.
He's not been picked yet.
He's not. We would have made a deal about
Yeah,
it.
A.D. Mitchell, Ennis Rakestraw, Zach Frazier's gone, Peyton Wilson. Ooh, Nelly.
Yeah, Junior Colson, Malachi Corley.
I think Malachi Corley is the 3rd-round guy.
I think so as well. I don't think he offers enough versatility to warrant a round 2 pick. Could be wrong, though.
No, I agree with that analysis.
Oh, man. Shout out Pat Fryermuth? Is that? Yep.
Pat Fryermuth.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward to have a current player select the pick.
Yeah.
A little like, hey, dude.
Hey, what's up?
I'm your teammate now.
Yeah, I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Yep. Colts took A.D. Mitchell.
Fudge.
The Indianapolis Colts have selected Texas wide receiver Adonai Mitchell.
Oh, my God.
Colts take A.D. Mitchell. I repeat, Colts take A.D. Mitchell at 52. 2 picks before the Browns.
Dang. The trade back's like, it's got to happen now.
I think the trade backs, anytime you think your team's going to make a trade, they never do. Like, that's kind of how trades work in the draft.
It's true.
If they're supposed to trade up, they don't.
Oh, man. A.D. Mitchell falls outside the top 50.
This Zach Frazier guy might be a problem for the Browns and other AFC North teams.
So, a quick story on him.
Yeah.
He suffered his injury, I believe it was a knee injury against Baylor. And I don't want to misquote the injury, but it was a severe knee injury that caused him to miss the rest of the year.
Okay.
Instead of being helped off the field,
oh, God, I hate where this is going.
he limped off on his own power with his knee injury.
Oh, he's going to be such a pain in the ass.
He is a tough SOB.
A.D. Mitchell goes to Indianapolis at 52.
Man.
The Browns are next. All right, let's go.
Hey.
We have waited so long. Browns are next. Spam me if you're excited. Spam me if you're excited. $10 super chat coming in from Truitt.
My guy, Truitt.
Carly, AFC North, Browns hat on a hat player.
Yeah, hat on a hat player.
Hat on a hat, baby.
Hat on a hat.
Truitt's a football coach.
Yep.
That just told you to coach football at some level.
Yep.
Most likely, middle school, where like you really start to put the fundamentals in.
Yeah.
Freshman B team coach, where you're like, oh, yeah, settle down, Coach Joshy.
Yeah.
That was my coach. He was a lot.
You gotta get a hat on a hat.
Truitt, appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much.
As we await the Commanders' pick.
Commanders at 53.
The Browns anxiously await.
We actually have not had a trade for a handful of picks now. Did I just jinx it?
You might have.
Oh, I definitely just did.
Oh, my goodness.
You haven't had a trade in a little while. Is there one more in the works for the Browns? They traded out of it last year, or 2 years ago, sorry.
Here the Colts are announcing the pick.
Colts are announcing the A.D. Mitchell selection. I really like the pick for Anthony Richardson and the Colts, though.
I do too.
Him, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Jonathan Taylor. They already have a top 10 offensive line. Colts, if Anthony Richardson's the guy, will be a problem.
I would argue they're in a better position to challenge Houston than Jacksonville is next year.
I don't hate that take out. It all comes down to Anthony Richardson.
It does.
100%. They were one win away from going to the playoffs last year.
They were?
They were one non-dropped pass.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep, I do. I do remember that. Oh, man.
It's Commanders and then Browns. Scott Zappa's here. Good to see you, Scott. Jacob Kistner. Jacob, have you been busy? Haven't seen you yet, dude. We got Michael Jordan. Probably the actual Michael Jordan. Mike Dibble. Kathy's here. Debbie. Cool guy.
80's like, thank God.
80 is like, I'm happy, but I'm also pissed it took this long.
He's going to come in with a fire under his behind.
He is livid.
He is not happy.
Long. He's not even smiling.
Yeah.
He's got the Amon-Ra St. Brown in him at the moment.
Oh, shoot. Look at Finn.
Finn with a $2 super chat.
Oh.
€2 super chat, I suppose.
Oh, my goodness. Finn.
It's 2:35 a.m. I would like a linebacker or trade back. Peyton Wilson is the next best linebacker out of NC State. Long history of injuries, though. That's caused him to drop a little bit. Does Andrew Berry look past that, or did he not get over that? I think it's the latter. Junior Colson out of Michigan, really good run-stopping linebacker. Doesn't offer a lot of extreme athletic traits that Andrew Berry has pursued and picks before. Dr. Crew is in the house. And Trent with a $20 super chat. Go Falcons, F the Saints. Everyone spam Trent in the chat.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate you. See you in round 3. I mean, that's the next time the Falcons are picking. But Trent, you're the man, dude. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
We got Ben Broski.
Ben Broski. Oh, the OGs of the watch party are here. Go Browns. Ben, appreciate you. Dr. Crew, sup guys, let's just get best man available. At that point, if we're doing best man available, who is that on Tom Downey's list?
I can pull it up in here in just a second.
Here's the top 4 players available for the Browns. We'll throw it on screen for you in just a second.
That would be Mr. Kingsley.
And that was my mock draft pick for the Browns.
Oh, man. Was it the Browns? I thought you were...
No, in my actual, final Browns mock draft.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, boy.
Pick is in for Washington.
The Browns are next then. John Thompson with a $10 super chat. Troy Franklin could catch their eyes as well.
Get all that. Hold on, give me a sec. All right. John
Thompson. I agree, Trent. F the Aints.
F them.
Commanders are going Kansas State tight end Ben Sinnott.
Okay.
And now we're getting ready for the Brownies.
Man, oh man, the Browns are finally on the clock.
Let's go.
Oh.
Browns are on the clock. The Cleveland Browns, for the first time in the 2024 NFL Draft, are on the clock. Who do they go with? Ben Sinnott is the pick for the Commanders at 53, Kansas State tight end.
Yep.
Browns are on the clock. What are they going to do?
Oh, man.
Ghostface with a $5 super chat. Here, go full screen me, Colin, just for this part here.
I will here. Let me just get the super
you.
chat.
Ghostface, Petey, you the man, dude. Love the show. Let's go Brownies, baby. Here we go. Ghostface, thank you so much. First time super chatter. Little 2-clap action. Little 1-2. Let's go. Oh, just do big cam right. That's all I meant. All right. Browns are on the clock at 54. Who's it going to be? I'm refreshing every 2 seconds. Come on, Brownies. My prediction, Kingsley Suamatia. Should I close my eyes? Okay.
Yep.
You tell me when the pick's in.
I'll tell you when the pick's in.
I'm going to be surprised.
You'll be surprised.
I'm going to look up because I don't want to close my eyes forever.
Yeah.
Tell me when the pick is in. I can't see anything.
Yeah.
That way you get my honest.
So you just want me to say pick is in?
I want you to say pick is in and then do the Roger Goodell with the 54th pick.
Got it, okay.
Do the whole thing.
Got it.
Do the whole thing.
Got it. Okay.
I want it over for me so you can see my true raw reaction.
We're getting some super chats in the chat.
We'll get all the super chats after the Browns pick.
Okay. Sounds good.
Tell me when it's in. Oh, boy. My prediction is Kingsley Suamatia, offensive tackle out of BYU.
Let's see. Refresh. I'm refreshing Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. Come on.
Come on.
I'm making awful eye contact with the camera because I don't want to look at the screen and see a spoiler, so I'm looking up.
I'm looking. Come on.
Okay, come on. Come on. Barry, phone it in.
Phone it in.
Phone it in, Andrew.
Good Lord.
Commanders at 53 with Kansas State tight end Ben Sinnott.
I'm honestly just going to refresh Ari's. He's been killing it.
Come on. Let's go. Get the pick in. Michael Warnecki's here. I did peek down for a moment to see who the super chat was from. Come on.
Come on.
Who are the Browns going with at 54?
I'm keeping refreshing. I'm not seeing anything.
Don't say anything. No spoilers.
He's not even looking at the chat.
I'm not looking at anything. I want to be truly. I do love the no tipping of picks for your team. Fun for other teams, not for my team.
Yep.
Could they go corner Ennis Rakestraw? Do they go Malachi Corley? Do they go running back Jalen Wright? What are the Browns gonna do? Come on.
I'm literally refreshing every 2 seconds.
So nervous.
Nothing.
Come on.
Come on.
Sticking by the Kingsley prediction. He can play left tackle. He can play right tackle. You got 3 tackles all coming off knee surgeries. It's not Jack Conklin's first knee injury. Jedrick Wills is coming off a knee injury, entering a contract year. Get 2 cheap tackles for the future, Dawand Jones and Kingsley. Not having to play Kingsley this year. Let him basically redshirt his freshman year. What is the Browns pick going to be? Is it in? Is it in? Come on. What is it?
Still refreshing.
Look at the chat. Does the chat say it's in?
Nope.
No?
Nothing yet.
All right. Oh, Ben Sinnott, hockey player. Got some hockey highlight. Oh, wow. What a hit.
Where the heck? I'm just going to go on Ari's. Twitter is being funky.
Oh, another big hit from Ben.
Oh, that might have something.
You got something?
I might have something. Yep. All right. The 54th in. The 50. Oh, my God.
You got it.
All right. With the 54th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Ohio State's own Michael Hall Jr.
Okay, a little early. That's my initial reaction. I didn't really have that early of a grade on him.
Michael
Very
Hall
athletic
Jr.
player. That's something Andrew Berry is always searching for. I thought he'd be more of a round 3 guy. Tends to be a little bit inconsistent in his production, but I'm not surprised the Browns go in the trenches, either offense or defensive line. I wanted to be a little bit more upbeat about it, but I'll take it. Michael Hall. Browns needed to get young at defensive tackle, right? Dalvin Tomlinson. You've got recent free agent different additions in Quentin Jefferson, Maurice Hurst. Siaki Ika's not looking too sharp so far, but ultimately, Shelby Harris, the other guy I was thinking of. Michael Hall, all right. Kind of like it. Michael Hall is the pick. So we're going to break down this selection. We're going to get into detail. You are going to leave this video knowing everything there is to know about Michael Hall. I'll pull up my notes on him right now. Immediate, just surface level here. 6'2", 299 pounds. So he kind of fits that Jordan Elliott mold. 30 pounds lighter than Siaki Ika, right? He's going to have more pass rush upside to his game. Unfortunately, the production and the availability has come and gone in his career. If you're an Ohio State fan, I'm sure you're going to be upbeat about this because yet another Buckeye is going up to Cleveland from Columbus. But I would have preferred maybe another guy or two, but at 54, you're definitely in the camp of beggars can't be choosers. So let's break down this selection. He's got some explosiveness to his game. He's athletic. He's got good speed, good agility. He's not the biggest. He's not going to bring it every single snap, but there is a lot of things to like about Michael Hall. So if we're ready, let's get the dog pound familiar with maybe someone they already know a decent amount about, and that is Ohio State's very own Michael Hall. And the Browns are now the 32 team to make a selection. We'll get to all of your super chats after my reaction and my breakdown and analysis of the pick. Are we ready? All right, my friends, here we go. Let's talk about the Michael Hall draft pick. And the Browns are finally on the board. They have selected, with the 54th overall pick in the draft, Ohio State defensive tackle Michael Hall. So we're going to break down the pick, get you guys familiar, everything there is to know about the Buckeye. Yes, another Ohio State going to Cleveland. Stop me if you've heard this before. And then I'll give you my analysis and my reaction to the pick. But first, I do want you to make your own opinion and judgment on this selection. So let me tell you everything there is to know about Michael Hall. One, very athletic defensive tackle. Very different type of pick than Siaki Ika last year. Ika last year, well over 320 pounds. Michael Hall at the Combine came in at 299. So he's got a lot of athletic twitch to his game. He's got some great speed from the interior. I think this is the pick that the Browns wanted like Jordan Elliott or Tommy Togiai to be. Last year for the Buckeyes, 2 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. He was in and out of the lineup a little bit. He was never really a consistent force for Ohio State. And if I got any Buckeyes fan, well, for all the Buckeyes fans watching right now, I think you can agree that Michael Hall was a little bit of a flash in the pan at times. His second year at Columbus, 7.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. And then you didn't really see that big leap forward in year 3 for the Buckeyes. More on Michael Hall in just a moment, but do get in the comment section for me right now and grade the pick. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to save my grade for my overall draft grades video, which I'll do at the end of round 2 of the draft. So make sure, or day 2 of the draft, so make sure you come back and check out our grades video. Now, as for my opinion on it, was he my preferred choice at 54? No, I'll be brutally honest with you. But when you are picking 54, you tend to be in the camp of beggars can't be choosers. Now, my concerns with Hall are the inconsistencies, right? We just never really saw him put together what are some great athletic traits for a long span of time. But I'll tell you this much. He's 20 years old. He'll turn 21 in June, and he's a highly athletic player at a growing position of need for teams because there's lots of great edge rushers, but it's tough to find pass rushers from the interior defensive line. The Browns have made that a point of emphasis in free agency, right? Re-signing Maurice Hurst, re-signing Shelby Harris, signing Quentin Jefferson, giving Dalvin Tomlinson a big payday. Now they're trying to find some homegrown talent for much cheaper than those one year to 1 year free agent DTs. So Michael Hall, if he plays and lives up to his potential, I think he can be a really solid rotational defensive tackle. Ultimately, the Browns didn't have a major position of need to draft for. Andrew Berry likes to view the draft as house money. Satisfy all of your team needs before the draft, so you're not drafting for needs, you're drafting for best players available, which is why I'm a little bit of a head scratcher for this pick, because I didn't think he would be the best player on their big board at this spot. I thought it might be like BYU's offensive tackle, Kingsley Suamatia, maybe Mizzou's cornerback, Ennis Rakestraw Jr. Now, I'm going to share more with you guys on this reaction of the pick in just a second, but first, I want to shout out our sponsor today, Prize Picks. Today's show is made possible thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? It is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. They also have a wide variety of stat projections, including for the NFL draft, season-long projections for the stats like Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Malik Neighbors. So if you like my selections, feel free to ride with me by downloading the Prize Picks app and using code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, download the Prize Picks app and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Prize Picks for supporting us here at Chat Sports. Make sure you get started today. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. I want to share with you guys some of the notes I have on Michael Hall. Two-year guy at Ohio State. The inconsistency, like I mentioned before, was an issue. That was a big deal of him missing some time throughout his career with the Buckeyes. Have written down he averaged just 28 snaps per game the last 2 seasons. But he's also only 20 years old. So you know Andrew Berry is like the Leonardo DiCaprio of the NFL draft. He likes them young. So he thinks that Michael Hall is someone that's just scratching the surface. And that Jim Schwartz, who has always had great production from his interior defensive lineman, can get the most out of a very raw, pass-rushing heavy upside project. Michael Hall is not being drafted to be a tree stump in the middle of the defensive line to stop the run. He honestly plays a little bit smaller than his size would indicate. Pushing 300, 1 pound shy of it, you may think this is like a near nose tackle. No, Michael Hall plays much more like a 3 technique when I watched his tape. Other things I have written down is he doesn't have a lot of volume to his game, but the sample size we do have is promising. Like, for example, he was second amongst FBS defensive tackles last year when it came to a pass rush win rate, only behind Texas's Byron Murphy. The difference is Byron Murphy played a lot more football than Michael Hall did. Now, the Athletics' Dane Brugler does excellent write-ups on all of the prospects. Here's what he said on Hall. Hall was more of a flash player than consistent force. Agreed. But his quick twitch movements and natural energy are the ingredients of a disruptive gap penetrator. So I think this was a pick that Jim Schwartz is going to be rubbing his hands over, because when you look at the Browns' defensive line, he doesn't need Michael Hall to start week 1 and be a disruptive force. He's got 4 capable starting defensive tackles, 5 honestly, with Tomlinson, Harris, Jefferson, Hurst, and last year's 3rd-round pick, Siaka Ika. So I could view this as a redshirt pick, and then in 2025, when the Browns don't have Maurice Hurst under contract, Shelby Harris has 1 year left on his deal. Quentin Jefferson's a free agent. Dalvin Tomlinson is nearing the end of his contract. The Browns already have some works going in their farm system, and they don't have the pressure to go find a new starting defensive tackle if they saw some really good, solid growth and progress. To me, this also does signal that they're not super high on Siaka Ika, which, to be honest, I really wasn't either when they picked him last year. Never really viewed him as a dominant run stopper as a DT, and he was definitely too big to really rush the quarterback. So honestly, them going Michael Hall is a bit of a slap in the face to Ika. Now, make sure to subscribe, by the way, because this is the first of a handful of picks the Browns have in the 2024 NFL Draft. We're going to keep you guys up to speed and in the loop on every single selection that the Browns make. So make sure to hit the sub button down below so you can stay locked in all weekend long. Our offseason profile for the Cleveland Browns, by the way, necessarily didn't have defensive tackle towards the top of the list. I was a bit bummed when Jedrick Cooper went to the Packers. I was further bummed when A.D. Mitchell went to the Colts 2 picks before the Browns because A.D. Mitchell is the wide receiver version of Michael Hall, but just with more production. He's super young and super athletic. But we can't be too surprised about this pick, right? Mike Hall, one of the most athletic players at his position. I did a video on the channel a few weeks ago, Andrew Berry's guys. Under 22 years old and an RAS score of above 7. Guess who fits this mold? Michael Hall Jr. So yet another draft pick from Ohio State to the Browns, keeping it in the Buckeye State. But the Browns will be back on the clock again as long as they don't trade out of it for pick 85. Would love to see them go Malachi Corley, the Western Kentucky wide receiver, if he's still available. But let me know what you think the Browns should do next. Should they go offensive tackle if they want to find a replacement for Jedrick Wills or Jack Conklin down the road? Go wide receiver. Let me know what position you want to see the Browns select next on the draft. Now, it would not be a Cleveland Browns video without pick a card. So everyone, I invite you to play along. Pick a card as we randomly select one. We end all of our videos in the offseason this way to keep you guys engaged throughout the entirety of our video. So, Mr. Cullen Brown, what would you like to go with?
Man, crazy prediction, or crazy pick. Man, I can't even speak right now. My goal is number 51. Yep. I'm going to go 6 of diamonds.
I'll follow suit, go 6 of hearts.
Let's do it.
Ace of hearts. Ace of hearts. All right, that's going to do it for us on our show today. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you all in a very short amount of time for the Browns' 3rd round pick reaction. Well, there we have it. The wait's over. Not stoked about it. And I know that's like the last thing you want, because if you're not stoked about it, you want me to pipe up the pick to get you more bought in. And if you're already bought in, you don't want me crashing down on your parade. But the reality is my honest opinion is that I don't love this pick. But I can see the upside in the future. Now, we're going to get to more draft recaps in just a second, but a quick shout out to our friends at Prize Picks. Today's show is made possible thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? It is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. They also have a wide variety of stat projections, including for the NFL Draft, season-long projections for the stats like Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Malik Neighbors. So if you like my selections, feel free to ride with me by downloading the Prize Picks app and using code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, download the Prize Picks app and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Prize Picks for supporting us here at Chat Sports. Make sure you get started today. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. All right, we got some super chats to catch up on after the Browns selection. Ed Garrett with a $5 super chat. F the Saints. Also, I love the heat you guys are bringing tonight. Let's go Falcons. Ed, really appreciate your super chat. I'll be honest. You guys aren't going to like the heat. I fucking love the NFL Draft. That is straight boner pills for me. Like, you don't need a blue pill if you're an old man. Watch the NFL Draft. It is just the most captivating sporting event in my eyes. The idea of like every single team having the trajectory of the history changing potentially on the picks they make or they pass on. I love it. Ed, thank you so much for the super chat, dude. George, next one up on screen. $2 super chat from George, linebacker. Not a lot of good linebackers in this draft class. I'm not surprised that you'd only see one go so far in round number 2. You got Peyton Wilson, Junior Colson. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys goes all the way to round number 4. Michael Warnecki with a $10 super chat. Let's go, Browns. Michael, good to see you. I hope you're having a great draft, and let's go, Brownies, buddy. I hope you like the Michael Hall pick, because it's more fun to like the pick than dislike the pick.
Yeah.
But if you like every single pick, it kind of wears thin. Truitt with another one. Hat in a hat. I think that means Truitt likes the pick.
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so, too.
I think that's... gosh. I go back to the Michael Hall pick, and I'm like... Or the Michael Hall reveal.
Yep.
That was super fun for me. I felt like I was getting drafted.
Yeah.
Bitter Truth Joe.
$50
super chat. I didn't see that. Bitter Truth Show. Let's go. They betrayed all of us. I'm sending I'm sending
PD.
What?
Do you know what that stands for?
OF Models. What does OF Models stand for?
I'm not going to ruin your innocence, but
I've never heard that expression before.
I'll slack it to you.
What is OF Models? I feel like a teenager right now. To Barry's house at 3 a.m.
Hold on.
This is going to be embarrassing for me. I'm excited.
I'll slack it to you.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, that makes sense. I'd never seen that abbreviation before. Wait a minute. Bitter Truth Show, you like the pick so much that you're sending OF Models?
I'd say that's sending him a reward.
That's a reward. I think that means you like the pick, Bitter Truth. I love the super chat, though. I really, really appreciate it. Ray Bidding, you can never have enough Buckeyes. I'm telling you right now, like how I've been advocating for Jalen Wright for no reason at all. All the Buckeyes fans, which make up a good chunk of this fan base, are going to be very quick to defend this pick.
Yep.
They'll have some Buckeye blinders on, that's for sure. I also feel like when your NFL team picks from your college team, you can kind of go like, listen, I watch that guy every Saturday.
Yep.
You should have called me and consulted me on that one.
You should have.
Oh, Patrick Paul went the next pick.
Yeah, he did.
Wow, okay.
Shout out to
Papa T.
Let's go.
Petey still rocking it. Love the coverage. We got to shore up that left tackle. Wills has had more than enough time with a great O-line coach to get it right. Let's get some depth in the O-line. Petey, stay strong. T-Men. Love the T-Men. Hope the Thompsons are doing well. Papa T, thank you so much. Oh, Javon Bullard went to the Packers at 58. I missed all this.
I know, there's so much that went on.
Hall pick is like going on a blind date. Not loving it, but not hating it if you get lucky. Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you pick 54.
Yeah.
Don't disagree.
Yeah.
Kind of like the analogy, Tim Green. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
We got some Colin Coward going on from Tim Green.
Oh,
are we all caught up on Soupies?
We are caught up as far as I know. As far as I can see.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
So, reminder, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Get yourself the best NFL draft content. We're not even at round 3 yet. We're not even close to the halfway mark. We got a lot of picks to get through tomorrow, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a single thing.
Yep, we have got you covered. If the Browns, Falcons, whomever makes a move, Chat Sports has got it covered.
Houston Texans, by the way, went with Notre Dame's right tackle, Blake Fisher. Blake Fisher is an interesting prospect because he was supposed to be their left tackle. Then this guy named Joe Alt came around, kind of stole the spotlight from him, but he fell to round 2, and I think he's got starting potential at the next level.
Did you see him at his I guess, cabin?
No.
Like the cabin video? So he basically is a mountain of human. We all knew this, but like even when you see him just amongst regular people, like it's one thing seeing him against, other linemen, other guys that he's playing up against.
Yeah.
He is a mountain of a human. And when he stood up, I was just like,
huge.
oh my God.
Yeah, they're both huge.
Dude, it is insane that we are the same species. I want to be honest.
Now, we have a few more picks left in round number 2, and then, unfortunately, we are getting the boot out of Studio F. I've got to help out with our main coverage, but someone else is coming in here.
I know who it is.
Who's coming
Allie.
in? Okay.
Allie's coming in.
So, Allie's coming in. Doing Bengals, maybe? I don't know what she's doing. But nevertheless, we got a busy schedule here. So we'll be live up until the end of round 2, and then we do have to say goodbye. But don't worry, I'll still get videos out for every round 3 pick made. I just won't be live while I do it. So a bit of a downer. But it is what it is.
Did you check production?
No.
Please do.
I didn't
It's very chit-chatty, but it's...
making fun of me?
No, not you.
Okay, thank gosh.
No. You're all good, BD.
When the...
Oh,
okay.
my God.
I love by the way, in our Falcons chat, from Dem Birds Be Dirty. Yes, they traded one to go get Scooby-Doo. They traded a third-round pick for a Ruh-roh Raggy.
Ruh-roh Raggy.
Okay. Right. Did we draft yet? I'm late. Who did we draft? The Cleveland Browns selected Michael Hall with the 54th overall pick in the draft. I just gave my entire, 10-minute breakdown of it, pretty much.
Yep, it should be on the channel now.
The core of it is, I wouldn't even say like the high ceiling, low floor. I don't think that's enough justice.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a low floor, average height ceiling, 10-foot ceiling. Really good athleticism. Not the biggest DT. Doesn't play quite the size of a 300-pound guy. He's got some good speed and twitch to him. The production's a concern. The inconsistency, the lack of availability throughout his time at Ohio State, kind of in and out with injuries. But he's super young. He's not even 21 years old. He literally cannot legally celebrate being drafted with a beer until June. So this is a developmental pick, I think, for the Browns. Hoping to get something out of him. Maybe not even as early as the beginning of 2025. I could see this being a pick where the Browns go, we made the right selection. If Michael Hall is making big plays for them at the end of 2025, and it gets them excited for the start of 2026. That's, I think, the belief and the thought process behind this pick.
Yeah. We thought that they could potentially trade back. They ultimately took the man in their own backyard.
Mike Dibble, when is our next pick? 85. Browns' next pick is at 85.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
Mm-hmm. Defensive Rookie of the Year? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. I don't know who's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Like, I don't know who do you think the betting favorite is. I would think Dallas Turner.
I was going to say, I think in Brian Flores' defense.
I think there's great value on that one, too.
Yeah, I think so, too. Quinyon Mitchell's not a bad shout, but corners, it's really hard for corners.
It's very tough. It's 100% dependent on interceptions.
Exactly.
And that's not necessarily the fairest way to evaluate a corner.
Which also, by the way, they just drafted another corner for him to compete with. So, or maybe safety.
Dibble, do you think you should wait till 85? I would wait. You sure you want to get a rookie? Like, God, imagine if you got a Siaka Ika jersey or a pair. Imagine you got a Perrion Winfrey jersey. Quite the collectible, but you may regret it. But honestly, the decision's yours. Whatever you want, bud.
Whatever you like.
Yep. To recap the Falcons draft, obviously you had Michael Penix, and then they went with Clemson defensive tackle Rook Orororo, who they traded one of their 2 third-round picks to move up and get. So Atlanta is picking at 74, and that is it for day 2, unless they trade back in. So the Browns are picking at 85, the Falcons at 74, and those are their only round 3 selections, as we are 4 more picks away from the end of round 2. 61, 2, 3, and 4. Yep. And the Bills' pick is in.
Taking Bishop.
Cole Bishop.
Yep.
Safety out of Utah. Someone earlier asked me the best safeties. Cole Bishop was in my top 4. Really good ball skills, solid tackler as well. May not be the best athlete, and that's kind of why he's a late day 2 or late round 2 kind of player. But there's still a lot to like about the Utah Ute. Oh, wow. Cowboys are expected to re-sign Zeke.
Yeah, that came out before the draft, I thought.
I know they met with him before the draft.
Oh, yes.
Now it's like it made a second step.
Got it. Okay.
Because Jerry Jones during the draft, this is what you have to be concerned about.
Yes.
Re-signing a running back.
That's insane.
So it looks like Zeke is going to go back to Dallas. Kind of makes sense. Tony Pollard's gone. I really thought they would take Jonathan Brooks. He went to the Panthers before them.
Yeah.
Cole Bishop to the Bills. Remember, they lost Micah Hyde in a cap casualty. So Buffalo probably finds an immediate new starting safety. Pull up, Shorty. How would you grade the Falcons draft picks? D-, C. Probably not what you wanted to hear. Floyd, can you pronounce? I'm going to literally read to you the pronunciation guide I have. And then I'm going to double check that there's not another pronunciation version of it. But it is quite literally Rook, as in it rhymes with juke, O-ro-ro-ro. Let me see if Clemson's website has a different pronunciation.
Yeah.
Nope. It's O-ro-ro-ro.
Pretty crazy.
I'm going to play it into my microphone so everyone can hear it.
Ravens, San Francisco, Kansas City, all coming up here after Detroit. Very interested to see who all gets drafted.
So everyone can once and for all figure out how the heck you pronounce Ruko Rororo's name.
Rook.
I like that from Time Man. I bet Lions will get a Michigan guy. They at home. The draft in Detroit. There has to be a Panda pick.
There has to be. At least one.
There's a lot of them. I mean,
Okay.
I can't even tell you right now, but just an easy way to remember it.
Here's how. This is Rook on how he pronounces his name. I'm going to put up next to my microphone so everyone can hear it. This is the new Falcons DT.
there's a lot of them. I mean, I can't even tell you right now, but just an easy way to remember it. I told them, it's like, row your boat.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, row your boat.
Yeah. Rook, oh, row.
Row your boat.
There you have it.
Yeah. Ennis Rakestraw.
He didn't even sound very confident in his own pronunciation.
Ennis Rakestraw.
Oh, I do like the pick here. Who is this?
Detroit, yeah.
Ennis Rakestraw was a really good corner for Mizzou. He just battled a lot of injuries with the Tigers. He doesn't have the greatest speed. He didn't have a phenomenal 40-yard dash. And when you evaluate corners, that 40-yard dash is really important. But the guy was a playmaker. He went up against some of the best wide receivers in college football. He held his own, good ball skills. If he's able to stay healthy and he doesn't get picked on because he's going up against Xavier Worthy, I think he could be a really solid corner for the Lions, who have gone cornerback with back-to-back picks, right? Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw.
Shout out.
Reminder, we are going to have to sign off here at the end of round 2, which will be the Chiefs. So if you want to send a super chat in, if you enjoyed the free stream we've been doing for how long now? 3 hours and 15 minutes?
You are so close. That is scary.
Yeah.
You and time is freaky. It is. We are at 3:13 and a half minutes.
So if you enjoyed the free content we've been doing for the last 3+ hours, by no means is there any pressure to super chat, but it is greatly appreciated. If you're unable to, like the video, share, comment, all those cliches. It does boost the channel a lot.
Yeah, just got the notification, so yeah.
Yep. So we have the Lions pick, which is about to be announced, and then the Niners, and then the Chiefs. I predict one of those teams go with my guy Kingsley Suamatia from BYU.
Yeah, so Baltimore, San Francisco, Kansas City.
Baltimore. Yeah, we have 3 more picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just
No, it's okay. One of the last 2 would be Kingsley.
I agree. I was asking our Niners host, I was like, is Colton McKivitz really going to be starting games next year for you guys?
Yeah.
He was not great. And he said, hopefully not.
Colton, when is the Falcons' next pick? It is at 74, and we're at 62 right now. The pick is in for the Baltimore Ravens. They go with Washington offensive tackle Roger Rosengarten.
Okay.
So he started off at left tackle. Then, Penix transfers to Washington. They move Roger to right tackle to protect Penix's left blind side. And so he's got some versatility to his game. The Ravens, by the way, if you remember, they traded away Morgan Moses back to the Jets. So they could be looking to either get a new swing tackle at the very least, but just overall bring some more depth in at a cornerstone position. So solid pick by the Ravens. They always draft well. I expect Roger to be an all-pro.
Yep.
That's kind of the way it goes with the Ravens in drafting.
Unless they're drafting receivers.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's the only thing.
So we have 2 picks left in round number 2, and then we will have to say goodbye. We'll sign off from our live stream, but I'll still put out a video for every single pick that is made for the Browns and the Falcons.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
The Lions traded for a corner in Carlton Davis, and they used their first 2 picks on corner. Talk about wanting to make sure you got the position right.
I think they are sizing up the rest of the NFC.
Yeah.
And San Francisco just added a receiver. So they made them, obviously, in the NFC Championship game. They need to get better in the back end. They saw Brian Branch back there. Really good young safety. Obviously, they have, blanking on his name, Aiden Hutchinson. Thank you. Graphic. They got to get better on defense. Offensively, they're pretty set. You know, they have all the pieces, running back, tight end, wide receiver, obviously, that they just re-signed. Offensive line, they're pretty set. Now is addressing the defensive side of the ball. Detroit's had a really good draft, in my opinion.
They've drafted well the last 2 years.
They really have. I don't want to get this guy's name, but the general manager for Detroit, he's got to be one of the best GMs.
Brad Holmes?
Brad Holmes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the better GMs in football.
I really want to go to a draft in person.
I regret pretty much almost every day of my life that I didn't go to the one that was here in Dallas.
Yeah.
Where my friends went, and I had to work.
That sucks.
Yeah.
All right,
I really
guys.
wish I would have called sick in that day.
2 picks left in round number 2, and then we'll say goodbye. I don't want to say goodbye.
I don't want to either.
The goal is next year, big enough channel where I can just hold down a studio for the entirety of all 7 rounds.
Maybe I'll be producing it. Who knows?
That would be awesome.
Who knows?
We got the 49ers and then the Chiefs.
Yeah. Big picks here.
Who's... All right. Reminder that the Browns pick again in round 3 at 85, and the Falcons pick again in round 3 at 74.
Whoa, the Chiefs.
Trade. Chiefs jumped up 1 spot.
Why?
Unless they did not trade away pick 64. And they're going back to back, but that seems unlikely. Who did they jump up 1 spot for?
I don't know.
Dibble, I will be joining the mainstream. Dibble, it's funny. People didn't know that you were a Browns fan. And I was like, yeah, Dibble watches our watch parties and other content. And they're like, oh, we didn't know that. I feel like you only super chats on Maine. And I was like, no, like, Dibble's, he's all over the chat. Browns and Maine related. And I was like, because, like, this was a little strange, but, like, hosts take pride in the common names that pop up on the main channel. Like, that's my guy right there. Like, oh, Dibble, he's one of my disciples. Like, Ty Man the Buckeye originated with the Cleveland Browns report, like so on and so forth.
Ty Man's in a different stretch.
I don't know how Ty Man, how many screens are you running right now? Please answer that for me.
Please.
Actually, answer 2 questions for me. How many screens and what audio are you listening to?
What if he's listening to all of them? Just gonna cut up.
Could you really, Ty Man?
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him.
Dibble, 100%. Like,
he says, see y'all again tomorrow.
well, Ty Man just knows all of our schedule. He thinks we're about to sign. That's because we're about to sign off. That's all.
Oh, gotcha. So he's got 2. He's got 2.
How do you see everything with just 2? You're everywhere, though. You're here. You're definitely on Maine right now. And I bet you're on Bears, too. And you're probably on one of the NBA watch parties.
Yeah. Our Mavs watch party that's going on right now.
Dibble, you let me know, though, what jersey you want to go with. Ball is still in your court, my friend.
We are
And the
waiting.
Chiefs, I called it. The
Yep.
Chiefs went with Kingsley Suamatia.
There you go.
I think that's what I had in my mock draft.
I don't know. Let me pull that up, actually.
Did I?
Let me see.
No, I had the Yale tackle. I had Kingsley go earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
Ignore that.
Okay.
So the Chiefs jump up and they take Kingsley Suamatia. Oh, I want to hear this guy try and pronounce this guy's name. This is not going to go well.
It's not
I
bad,
did a pretty
actually.
good job, yeah.
That's actually not bad.
Hey, good job. He had a big sigh of relief, like, all right, I got out of there. Unscathed.
Not bad at
So
all.
one pick remaining.
In the second round with the San Francisco 49ers on the clock.
Dave, just wait until pick 85. See what that pick is. That could be a player you love.
Yeah. It's too early to
You don't
judge.
have to make a decision right now.
It's too early to judge. The
Like, Dibble, what's your college? Is it Duke or UNC? I don't know of any Duke or... Like, what do they get Tez Walker if you're a UNC fan? So we have one pick remaining in the second round, and then we will sign off. So if you want to send a super chat in, I guess this would kind of be like a last call in a way. Really appreciate all of you that sent super chats in throughout the entirety of our 3.5 hour stream so far. It's flown by. Felt like it was 90 minutes, honestly.
Yeah. And it's almost been 3.5 hours.
Does not feel like it's 8:32 or 8:22. Patrick Mahomes, I love Veach, man. That's Patrick Mahomes appreciating a new offensive lineman for him.
Yeah. Chiefs have really done a solid job for him, man.
Okay, Dibble says hoping for Troy Franklin. NC State, so you definitely don't want a Tez Walker jersey. Peyton Wilson? Is that why that's why you were asking about him earlier, isn't it?
Yep. 49ers pick will be made live to conclude the end of the second round.
Mm-hmm.
So
Make the pick. The Niners are going to go, I think, offensive tackle.
Yep.
I think they just got to go offensive line here.
The kid from Yale, right?
Yeah, Karan Amaganji.
Amaganji.
Karan Amaganji.
That should be the pick, in our opinion.
You know, he's super high in a lot of big boards, and I can't really figure out why. You only play 4 games in your final year at an Ivy League school, and you're a top 64 pick in the draft. Something's not adding up to me. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's a great question. I mean, to be fair, it could be just the fact that some of these positions aren't.
Pick is in.
Oh, is it in?
With the 64th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers have selected Renardo Green, cornerback from Florida State.
Okay.
So there you go, corner.
So on our Falcons channel, I don't know if he's watching right now.
Yeah.
Archangel.
Oh, he wanted Renardo Green bad.
He did, and I told him he's more likely to be a round 3 guy, or maybe even day 3.
Yep.
And he goes at the back end of round 2. So Ark, if you're in the chat right now, congrats to you, because the San Francisco 49ers just picked up your guy. But
all right, everyone.
you called it.
We got to sign off?
I'd imagine so.
All right.
I'd imagine so.
Hey, thank you guys so much for watching the last 3.5 hours in round 2 with us. We're going to end our live coverage. I am still putting out videos for every single pick that is made. So make sure you're subscribed. Check back on the channel. Turn your notifications on. That way you don't miss a single pick. And we'll see you all later.